We're trying the daytime out, the non-vampire hours. Good, man. Good. Yeah, dude. Just trying to. It's so impossible to get anyone on any other time. So we're trying it out, trying to see if we can get any engagement over here. And we'll see. Okay, sweet. Thanks, man. I think it's good just to try to connect with new people too. All right, and then yo, Odysseus, how's it going? Let's try this. Or let's try this. Trying to get everything out going. Yeah, man, I think it'll be fun just to get engaged new people and ooh, close. Come on, YT. You can do it. There we go. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yes. All right. Come on. If this would work, that'd be so great. All right. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yeah. Have a little, go over some science news, talk about what's going on in the day. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Dude, YT is not working. Come on. It's so frustrating. Thanks for tapping the screen, guys. Thanks for doing all the TikTok stuff. Appreciate you. Trying out a new hour, trying out a new day, trying out some new style. Let's see. Come on, YT. Okay, nice. Thank you, guys. There we are. It's working now. At least for the TikTok stuff. Now let's try it again. Okay. I have a microbiology PhD. That would be theory smasher, and that wouldn't be a good thing. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why we should just allow people and incentivize families. I think having a pro-family outlook on politics is a good thing. I mean, you want your economy to be growing, and a good way to do that is through kiddos. And then also it just means that people feel like they have a future to look forward to, so they're having children. So I think that's actually a good thing, I think that actually the Democratic Party's their politics is very pro-family. And I mean, obviously, I think that it's dangerous what the Republican parties are actually advocating for. So Trump is definitely anti-science. I mean, he's trying to bring down the entire institution. He's trying to defund it. He's trying to stop it from happening. So that's definitely anti-science. Yeah. I mean, you can't be trying to dismantle an entire field, an entire industry, and then also say that, oh, I'm not anti that thing, So yeah, it's very unfortunate. I mean, he's it's basically Trump is anti-science because it's an additional way in order to figure out what's happening in the world. So it's a way that they can control information. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Joey. Yeah, my bad, dude. It's hard with text, sarcasm. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I didn't see your parentheses there. He's anti-thinking completely. Okay. I think so. How people how I interpreted that is like, they see as dismantling academia as a way to free thoughts. Their ideology is that, by dismantling academia, they're kind of enabled to, think clearly and think for themselves. So that's why I was thinking with your comment. You thought I was another Alex Jones. Wow. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for hanging out and seeing that that's not the case, I guess. So, I mean, that's definitely not it. But I mean, there's a lot of people right now that are on the internet that are claiming a lot of things that are lying. Alex Jones is just one person, and at the end of the day, man, it's sad. People like with credentials, people with expertise, they don't do as well in the algorithms and in the apps because it's harder to. I spend a lot of time on this show, basically kind of defending science as an institution. Like that pharmaceutical companies aren't inherently evil, that kind of stuff. And what happens is that it makes me, a lot of time that I spend is just saying the conspiracies are wrong. But like, I have a lot of critiques for academia, right? I am an academic myself, so therefore I have a ton of critiques about it. I have a ton of critiques for the pharmaceutical companies. But what happens is that when people don't actually exist in good faith and contribute meaningful dialogue to the conversation, what happens is that we just get steeped in whether or not reality exists, right? We get steeped in this, should we be slashing science by 50%? That kind of craziness, as opposed to what would be the best way to make sure that we have the best money spent in academia. You know what I mean? And I think that that's fine. Like, how do we hold academics accountable? I mean, that's a valid question, right? Not we should defund academia because we have a study that we don't like. You know what I mean? I think that's the bigger point. Okay, boom, boom. Hope you guys are having a good day. Thanks for doing all the TikTok things. Appreciate you as always. We're trying a new time, guys. We're trying a new time for the show. I want to try to engage like a different audience. I do a night show, and I've been doing that. Been doing kind of like a fun hangout show there, as opposed to my science show. And then the production, the high, the beautiful production, the high value. We're trying to maybe do that during the day and then keep the cool, fun hangout at night. So we're trying something new. So if you like this, I really appreciate you pushing it to the algorithm through the likes and the shares. We're trying something new. So I really appreciate you doing that stuff right now. As someone in med school, spending all my time studying, it's so tiring seeing so many people discredit science. Yeah, exactly, Joey. I think, and especially in the medical field right now, the amount of disinformation and the naturopaths and all that nonsense, it's really disgusting. And it's nice seeing physicians, and healthcare professionals come in here and they're like, wow, thank you for the standing up to these conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. And, the medical field is hit right now by the same anti-science rhetoric, right? Because as a physician, you're using science in order to guide practice, right? To practice medicine, and we're all in it together. I genuinely do feel like that, and it's really nice to see physicians and healthcare professionals feel the same way and stand up for science. They've been nothing but supportive. Has studying science for so long led you to become an atheist? Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting. That thought process. I grew up religious, and I had always been interested in how the world worked. And I think that, so in a way, like I was always a scientist, before I got a PhD or worked as a scientist. So like in a way, yeah, I think that maybe like figuring out how the world worked made it so that like, religion wasn't needed in order to explain the natural processes that I see. So in a way, yeah. But I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can come to that conclusion. Atheism. I mean, I do think that people are born atheists. People don't naturally assume that there is a God. You have to teach it to them as young kids. I can't believe evolution created mankind. Okay, user. I mean, you can come up. We can talk about it if you want. Oh, I can't invite you. I'm sorry. Basically, evolution created humans just like it creates everything else. And humans are a byproduct of the evolutionary process. It's not a stair process, which is how I think a lot of people misinterpret it. They see it as like as top of the ladder and everything evolves to a human or something, which isn't true. Basically, evolution is a process where DNA changes over time. And that we see that happen in chemical bonds. We see that happen in viral particles that aren't even considered living. And we definitely see that in populations of organisms, and they evolve. So there's multiple mechanisms that create speciation, that create things. One of them, is adaptation. One of them is natural selection. One of them is gene drift, and all these different ways of creating this new possibility within this structure, right? Within this population, and new species come from that. I wonder why every culture ever has created metaphysical ideas to explain the world. I think that's because we're all humans. I think that's what creates that inclination in order to understand the world. And before science and before that way of understanding how the world works, religion was created through evolution. So religion was created by evolution because it allowed people to share more resources in order to be more defensive, more resource sharing amongst that population. So populations that were religious were more likely to survive. And now I feel like humans are kind of post-religious, and the fact that we don't really need religion in order to explain everything. So I think that's why. There's the greater question is, why are people atheists about 3,000 different gods, but the fact that I'm an atheist about all of them, that's too far for them. Everyone alive today is an atheist about Zeus, right? Nobody actually understands, what if we should Occam's razor, and just in case, or Pascal's wager, excuse me, the existence of Zeus, because he could be right. Nobody does that, but people do it with all the Abrahamic gods, which is, I think that's the fallacy. Have you ever seen the theory that everything in evolution heads towards crabs? Yes, Joey. That's interesting. Yeah, I forget the name of it, but yeah, there's multiple times basically that crab-like organisms have evolved separately. So it's like the idea of crabs are very efficient and a very are very a good and efficient form, and it happens. Interestingly, that's actually happened with sharks too. There's a mass extinction event of sharks where 90% of the globe's sharks. Oh, thank you, Ghostbusters. How's it going? Happy day. Good day to you. I have to practice my daytime salutes. But yeah, there's a time where sharks basically went extinct, and then they had to re-evolve. They re-evolved to similar shapes as sharks because sharks are inherently very efficient in what they do, and they are obviously a very good form. you know? So that's what happens. People still worship Zeus? Really? And interesting. I really haven't, I've never heard that. That's interesting. Yeah, Joe, I forget what it is. But I mean, NBA, I guess that, you know, if it's not Zeus, it's like there's thousands of druidic religions in Europe that went extinct during the Crusades, right? And nobody is trying to unearth those religions. You know what I mean? So I mean, you could pick any of the other ones that people are that people are atheist about. The White Emperor, how's it going, man?
Dr. Greg, oh, it's going great. How are you?
Good. What's up?
So I was on your show we talked about farming before and some GMOs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I just ran into something here this morning.
Okay.
That I wanted to talk to you about. So I called in, I got a report saying that there were some high levels of certain chemicals in these strawberries, dehydrated chocolate something. And so I called the FDA, and they said because I wasn't a federal agent that I was not using their line correctly. They said it was inappropriate for me to call them. And so I went, and that was the emergency line. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to your general line. Well, they're closed. So then I called Kroger, and Kroger has like different stations of like what they quality controls. So certain like the actual one where you get your food is different from the supplier, which is different from the farm. And then so I just went on to my AI, and it did confirm. It said yes, they found high levels of certain chemicals in strawberries of this platform, and it was okay for the USDA, but not okay for international levels. So my question to you is, why is it okay for us here, but not okay for other entities?
I mean, that's a good question, man. I don't know. I don't know what I'm not familiar with that compound. So, I mean, we should definitely, monitor it, and we should have like an active FDA that actually does environmental and follow-up monitoring for these things. I'm totally for that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I thought that was really weird that they shut me down immediately. He's the person, I don't know if it was he or not, but they just said, because I wasn't a federal agent, it was inappropriate for me to make the claim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, why can't I get on my AI and see the claim has been made? And here's the reason and the levels, so I just thought that was weird. Yeah, and I just wanted to discuss that with you. And what's up with that,
Unfortunately, the Trump administration has ended a lot of environmental monitoring across the board. So the EPA has been completely gutted. It hasn't really been bolstered. The scientists that are working there have been gutted. Oh, thank you, Sinish. Hi, Dr. Keisha, how's it going? So yeah, they've kind of gutted the Environmental Protection Agency. So it doesn't surprise me that they don't have the resources in order to onboard you.
Okay. And then this is just a side note from these. So when I used to raise beef, I asked people if they knew whether the beef or chicken that they were consuming was from a male or from a female, and 99% of the people I talked to didn't know.
It's male, right? Because they keep the females for milking.
That is one specific industry, but in the beef world, you can do both.
Okay.
And if I'm we have thyroids and different levels of estrogen and all kinds of, our body's basically this chemical experiment, right? All the time.
Okay.
And I was wondering why, if I'm a person, I'm eating a cheeseburger and maybe I feel a certain way after, is anybody actually monitoring how they feel after they eat certain types of meats or stuff like that? And no one's been able to answer that. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, because you might feel a certain way after eating after a male, which is what we typically,
Yeah.
is typical more for steers. We do, like, we castrate the steer,
Yeah.
and then that way their testosterone levels aren't so high, so you can finish them out, and it's more of a meat.
So
And
from what I understand, they test those things. Like from what I know is that for like the salmon, where they added a genetically modified growth hormone. I mean, they test to make sure that like that downstream process, that downstream growth hormone, isn't impacting like the consumer. So that is federally through the FDA approved.
Well, thank you. I just appreciate you having the show, and it
Thanks,
just
man.
makes me think about food more often and what we eat and how we feel after.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we should monitor ourselves after we have ingest these things to, what's best for us.
Yeah, man.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, thank you for. I appreciated your conversation before, like, and your farming expertise. And thanks for coming up, man. You can come up anytime.
All right. Well, we're in the field right now, so I was taking a minute. They're on the tractor. We're switching seed in the seed tender. So
Nice.
I took this minute. I saw you were on, and I was like, I want to pick his brain here for a second.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Hey.
Thanks for the question.
Hey, have a good day.
All right, see you, man. Peace. All right, guys. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, he's a farmer, and we were talking about genetically modified organisms and stuff before. So that was awesome. Oh my gosh. Peace, guys. The WHO has vaccines in vegetables. That's my research. Dude, that guy in comment talking about that conspiracy, that's my research. That's me. No way. No way. I can't believe it. I can't believe that someone in chat is talking about the conspiracy that actually includes me. Guys, I'm actually in the QAnon conspiracy world. I'm not joking. That my lab, the lab that I did my PhD research in, like, we did making vaccines inside of vegetables, and we actually made it into the QAnon because Mike Flynn talked about our research and talked about it in the QAnon world, and it spread. So then Tennessee actually banned our research and said that the researchers that were doing it are outlaws. And so therefore I am literally a Tennessee outlaw. I'm an outlaw in the state of Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not joking here. This is real. They actually did that. So I've never in my life would have thought that. So that is so cool. Dude, Peace, you're more than welcome to come up, dude. Yeah. I'm not connected to Epstein, but your president is. So there you go. That's wild, man. I can't wait to tell my wife. She thinks that's like the coolest thing that I actually made it, that I was actually part of it. Yeah, dude, people went crazy about it. It wasn't nice. People threatened our lab, and people didn't feel safe. We had to have people escorted to their cars. It's man, it's funny. This guy spams chat, all this nonsense, and then of course when I invite him up, he always says they always say no. Julie, thank you. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. Just catching up with chat a little bit, guys. Thank you for all the TikTok things, guys. Appreciate you. Dude, Sinish, guys, Genius Sinish in chat. He is a legend. He is so awesome. Oh, beef is sacred in Nepal and South Asian region. Yeah. Yes, Anish. I mean, there's some amazing Indian dishes that are vegetarian, guys. Oh, Ducray, what's up? So it's, just for costs, guys, like genuinely, I want everyone to know, like, beef is the number one contributor to your food cost. So at a time when food prices are going up, I just want to say and advocate for, you can eat plant-based proteins, stay healthy, stay full. You do not need to eat beef or chicken or pork every single meal in order to be healthy and active. You can have plant proteins and still maintain all the same protein levels. And it's important to utilize and eat as much plant-based foods as you can. So don't, when food things are food costs are going up, don't feel like you have to have beef, guys. You can have beef or meat a couple times a week, and it's completely healthy. Cheeseburgers. Okay, so cheeseburgers, eggplant. You can slice eggplant into like a thick patty, kind of like a beef patty, and then you can bread them just like you would with like a chicken or something like that, and then you can fry them, and they make an incredible addition to a burger. Or a portobello mushroom cap. You can put it inside for that meaty section. It's incredible. It is so good. So don't guys, with food costs this high, don't feel like you have to have beef. If it is really high. Mushroom or soybean stew. Yeah, exactly. For sure. That's fine, pessimistic. I mean, you can, I'm not like, I'm just saying because food costs are increasing, don't feel like you have to eat beef in order to be healthy. So if you can afford it, I mean, that's on you. But what I'm saying is that, plant-based eating is healthy and good for the environment, for you, for your health. It's all good. So I'm not vegan myself. No, it's all good. It's okay. I mean, guys, I'll be honest. I have world-class barbecue. All right. I'm really good at barbecue. So, you know what I mean? So I really do believe that you should eat high quality meat fewer times in your week. And so we can have a higher quality of life for the animals that we use, and we could, we should take that onus as humans that these animals are sacrificing their lives for our food. We should revere them. We should revere them for that sacrifice and give them the highest quality of life as possible. In the same way that we should revere the lives of the animals that we use and sacrifice for science research, right? Science research needs animal subjects in order to do studies. So we have to look out for these animals and make sure that they're living full lives and not just going through squalor. I think that's very important. Oh, cool, Julie. I'm a dietary technologist. Whoa, that's really cool. There you go. 70 of my diet is plants and rice. Nice, Sanish. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. Plants, whole plants are going to have fiber in them, guys. Fiber creates a filling, that volume. The plant fibers that aren't readily digestible by humans are digested by your gut microbiome in your gut. So having a full gut actually stimulates those GLP-1s, which is what you guys have heard from with Ozempic and stuff like that, right? And so the idea is that those plant fibers are going to take up space, are going to make you feel full, and you're going to snack less when you eat more full plants. What about the plants? They're living and have energy. Yeah, Firebender. I think so. I think that's actually an interesting point. I actually think that plants are conscious in a way that people kind of dissuade. So plants they know when they're being harmed. They don't have a nervous system, so I don't think that they feel pain like we do. So we shouldn't personify like their experience as humans, right? But the plants will actually feel pain and chemical signal to one another and know that they're being harmed and say, hey, I'm being cut right now. That's actually the smell of fresh cut grass is literally is the grass knowing that they've been cut. So, yeah. Climate change is real, brother. You should come up and talk about it. We're saying the roof system is similar to a nervous system and that their pain reacts by releasing chemicals. Yeah. Yeah, Mystic. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So they create and signal to one another through their root microbiomes, micronutrients that this happens. So so they actually will partition resources to plants that have been like stumps and stuff that have been cut, for trees. They will signal to one another that they've been they've been cut. So it is really cool. Why do none of these guys always say these passing comments and then they never join chat? It's like impossible. It is impossible to get one of these people. Please, NB, just throw out invites. As if there's nobody in the chat, you can definitely throw out invites as you see fit. Thank you so much for being here, NB. NB is all-star. They release toxins. Yeah. I think chemical signaling to one another. I mean, as the plants they can't run, right? Since plants can't run, plants have to evolve mechanisms in order to try and stop something attacking it, right? So they have chemical methods in order to stop attackers. They have physical methods in order to stop attackers. That chemicals would be something like caffeine, for example, or capsaicin, which is like a spice, right? Those are things that are literally trying to stop the attacker. And then there's physical barriers too. So physical barriers being like thorns. So yeah, the peppers. Yeah, Odysseus, exactly. Like onions. Yep. When they cut, they release the chemical and that makes your eyes water. Yeah, Odysseus, exactly. Definitely not Mystic Jim. I mean, there's water, there's cloud seeding that happens in like Saudi Arabia and under like extreme scenarios, but it's not happening like with hurricane season in the United States. So it's like there's levels to this, and it's not like that's what's happening. Guys, thank you so much guys, I normally do this show at night, so I'm trying this out during the day. I'm trying this new time out. So if you like this, please share, please repost, please follow and heart me. And so thank you so much for being here. And I'm trying to engage a different crowd in the day, trying to talk, because I'll be honest, guys. I chased all of the guys away. All right. I chased them all away at night. They've all ran. Everyone runs from me now, and thank you, Ghostbusters. I feel like I'm nice. I'm nice. Why do you guys run? Why do you guys run from little old me? I'm just trying to talk. Yeah, I mean, Mystic, you're talking about like scale, brother. Like you're talking about scale. Like Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene feel like hurricanes are being created by those things, and that's not true. Okay, cool. Nice, Julie. I'm up early, up to bed. Nice. There you go. Yeah, Sanish. I mean, like the Sahara Desert, I mean, that's a great point, man. And those plants that are going to be planted in the Sahara would be genetically modified in order to withstand arid environments. So there's some things that we should be doing through science in order to help them. But I think that the larger point is that there's a grand false conspiracy that the U.S. government is, doing these hurricanes in order to push people out of their homes, and that's just completely false. No, it's not Mystic Jim. No, I do not catch a lot of shows at night. Okay, yeah. I mean, the goal of this show, I want this to be a show, guys. I want this to be a show that you send to your friends, that you send to your mom, your dad. You're like, Colbert is shutting down, but you know what? You should check out this guy. He's not funny like Colbert. He's not as good looking. Unfortunately, he's a scientist, so it's boring. But maybe just for a second, maybe you've learned something, or you can bring something to someone else, or you can have a cool science fact, of like your 50% DNA, you share 50% of your DNA with the banana, Yeah, exactly. That's Ghostbusters is exactly right. Odysseus, thank you, man. Yeah, nobody has the mom jokes that we have. All right, I'll go toe to toe with mom jokes for anyone. Do you understand me? Nobody does mom jokes like me. Thank you. God blessed me. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Sure, climate change is real, just like pixies and fairies. Come on in, Ray. I would love to talk to you about it. Yeah, come on in, dude. Come on in. The water's fine. Oh, these guys are never. They're always on their alts, and they can never be invited to the show. It's so funny. Existing and searching. Okay. Oh, nice. I'm a science and math nerd. Okay. Nice, Julie. I love it. Well, thank you. You are at home. You're here. You're here at home with your friends. You know what I mean? That would be major problems if we did that. Yeah, I agree. I love science stuff. Me too. Guys, do the poll. What is this poll? I'm so curious. What's the poll? What did MB put with the poll? And let me know what it is. After you take the poll, let me know what MB put the poll as. Michelle, how's it going? Welcome. Huge. I'm a fan. Good morning. There's a new EU study of what? I'm so excited. I don't know what the study is that you're talking about, so it's hard for me to say. Thank you, Teresa. Welcome in. So, yeah, guys, we're trying out a new time. I'm having fun. Guys, I have unfortunately, new news, new microbiology news. Unfortunately, there's the WHO yesterday did declare Ebola as a global outbreak, which is unfortunate. I think the main thing with Ebola is that it creates a mechanism of spread that is so hard to have that it creates, it's not good that that's happening. And it's concerning, right? We should absolutely monitor it. But also that Ebola outbreaks in the past haven't been like pandemics, for example. So it doesn't have the spread of other viruses. So yeah, very, very unfortunate. Very, we have to watch it. And it shows, guys, I mean, the reason why we do environmental studying and why we do these types of environmental, the EPA, the CDC, these are all things that are actively monitoring viral populations throughout the world, right? These are ways that we can understand what's happening so that we can stay abreast to actually what is going on, so that we can monitor mutations to make sure that there isn't a huge differentiation. So like imagine a world where we didn't do environmental monitoring of the hantavirus, and that we didn't know if the new hantavirus strain that was on the cruise ship was actually a variant enough to have those type of systemic changes so that it could be a pandemic. Thankfully, we have done the homework, right? We had scientists that were going and doing the hard work of doing the science of the environmental monitoring to know that this Andes strain of hantavirus wasn't divergent enough. So in the same vein, right, we have to globally monitor hantavirus. We have to monitor coronaviruses for SARS-CoV-2. We have to monitor Ebola in order to make sure that those things are happening. So there it is. Globus the Elder. Oh, my friend, how's it going? Guys, Globus the Elder is one of my oldest friends in science communication. We were hooked up and friends from 2020. We've been ever since I started on my first foray into science communication. So it's been been years, brother. It's so great to see you. I love it. There's actually another person that is in here from, and that found me on TikTok from Marcus's stream too. So it's really cool, man. It's really cool. There's from the homozygote Twitch stream days. So I love it, man. I love it. It's so cool. Warms my heart. Warms my heart. See you, Sinish. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sinish right here in chat. Genius Sinish. He's an amazing person, guys. One of the coolest people that I've ever met on TikTok. Honestly, no, that's incorrect. One of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, TikTok or not. And it is so cool to have a place like TikTok, to have that global community that is spread, through TikTok, and to be able to meet people like that. It's very cool. It's very cool. Oh, thank you, Globus. I'm trying, man. We're trying. I mean, we're the hantavirus stuff is just wild, man. You know what I mean? We are out here going through another microbiology event, together, and it won't stop, and guys, it's important to realize that viruses outbreak. There are zoonotic spillover events constantly. There are natural spillover events that happen all the time. So the fact that we are globally monitoring them constantly. So the fact that hantavirus is coming up, the bird flu happened last year, the fact that Ebola is happening, these are all things that happen, and it's not like why is this happening all of a sudden? People have PTSD from the pandemic, and I think that's why they're like, oh wow, this is why it's happening again. But in reality, it's always been happening. Why they have to call that name hantavirus? That's just what it is. I thought it was originally discovered during the Korean War. So, it's a pretty old name. Yeah, guys, if you could only, as we are constantly looking for people to chat with. So if you could, share it to your friend, your uncle, your brother, that thinks Maha is a good thing, let him know. Let him come in here. How do you feel about the Argentina headquarters being in Kansas City for World Cup? Oh, I think it's fine, man. You test those people that are coming in, and I think you can quarantine people, and it's totally okay. So I think you can't fear monger about it. You have to be realistic. What the fear is, what it is, how we test it. Using PCR, using the quarantines, isolating yourself, wearing masks during public transit, all of those things coming together. How should we treat it? Anyone that's been exposed needs to be quarantining for 42 days. So it's not the 2 weeks of the original SARS-CoV-2. We're talking about 42 days, guys. It's a really long time. But you have to do that in order to maintain that, Yeah, Mystic, and they should. And the problem is that the suggested stay home in the United States is frustrating because they're not actually making them stay home. So they're just suggesting they not go anywhere for 42 days. I don't know if that's actually. Are they doing that? Are we paying 42 days of DoorDash for all these people? We should, but wouldn't that be the basic bare minimum? As a country, we should pay for Instacart and DoorDash for people that are in quarantine so that they don't go into a restaurant or a supermarket. It's crazy to me that we don't talk about that. I haven't even heard of anyone even propose that. Except for me, but that's the type of next generation thinking you get from here. Pros and cons of genetically modified of an enhanced natural ability would be the increased amounts of growth hormone inside of salmon so that they grow larger and their salmon steaks are larger. A new ability would be like the ability to create human insulin inside a bacteria. So that creates a bacteria that has the ability in order to actually create human insulin now. The cons, I mean, there is a con of genetically modified organisms getting out into nature and causing unintended second order impacts, but that's actually pretty easy to stop. And I think that really the big problem is like kind of like a haves versus have-nots thing. So you create a scenario where in the future you could have a scenario where people aren't able to grow in an arid environment, in a saltine like environment or a saline environment, except for genetically modified organisms, but the farmer can't afford to have those. That's like the big problem, I think. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Just on time, just in time. The guy that I was talking about, the conspiracy that I was talking about, exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, none of that's true. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, none of that's true, kid. So, um, are we modifying some vegetables to be resistant to glyphosate? Yes. Yeah. Period. So the idea is that you can actually use less glyphosate, though. The you use with genetically modified organisms, you actually use less pesticides. Yeah. He's anti. Yeah. Well, we can talk about it. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going for you?
Good. What's up?
I wanted to know why how Trump is anti-science.
Yeah, I mean he's defunding it massively. So he, in his proposed budget, he had like a 40% cut, and he stopped like hundreds of millions of dollars, and I think in total like tens of billions in his first year. So I mean that's stopping research and that I mean when you attack an entire industry and cut its budget by 40%, that's a pretty good indication that you're against that entire field.
Well, no, that's because the certain things are things that we were never actually gonna get on. Like, for instance, it was research to cure cancer. We're not gonna cure cancer. Okay.
Oh, really? Do you realize that we are like doing that for some cancers? Do you realize that?
We're curing cancer.
Some cancers, yeah.
Or are we treating it?
No, we're treating the genetic basis of the cancer and changing the genome so that they don't have cancer anymore. Do you know what cancer is? Do you understand that cancer is like hundreds of different types of mutations and they all have different diseases? So it's an umbrella term for like a lot of different things.
Yeah, cancer itself it's a tumor, and the tumor can be cancerous or non-cancerous, and therefore it wouldn't be cancer.
Okay.
And what cancers have we cured? Because we have treated cancer.
Mm-hmm. I mean the one that comes to mind is David R. Liu, through CRISPR gene editing. There was a kiddo that had 2 years to live. She had childhood leukemia, bone marrow transplant failed, chemotherapy failed, and within 6 months of an administration of one medicine that was personalized to her type of childhood leukemia, her genetic basis or her genome was changed so that she didn't have childhood leukemia anymore, and she's been in complete remission for 2 years, and they can't even detect it anymore.
For 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
It not to be like a down in the dumps, but it comes around. Sometimes it takes 5 years, sometimes it takes even longer, but it does come back.
There's a genetic basis to it, though, and they change the genome of that person so that they don't have those edits in their genome anymore.
And how long ago was this? Just to
I think that this case was 3 years ago, and then there was another one. There's another condition that they just did like a year ago. So they absolutely they do that. We are like treating the genetic basis for cancers. Absolutely.
All right. So.
But why wouldn't you want more research going into cancer research?
Because like certain things, like you can't cure leukemia, like you can't cure
I just talked about it. We just did.
that you said that one was leukemia.
Yeah, childhood leukemia.
Yeah.
You should check
Maybe
it
you have
out.
to
I mean,
look in, yeah,
look it up. I mean, yeah, gene editing. Yeah.
maybe I'll have to look into the case a bit.
Yeah, we're basically using CRISPR. It's like an evolved type of CRISPR that does specific gene editing and fixes the genetic problems in the genome in order to do that stuff. And we have a ton, like a lot of different stuff. I mean, me myself, dude, there is like I created a strain of algae that created a something inside of it, and it's chloroplast that could attack and kill specific like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cells. So I mean, people like we have that technology already.
All right, so if we already have it, I guess we're Gucci. Then we don't really need to research it more, do we?
No, because there's hundreds of different types of these problems. So we have to like use the tools that we have. So we have like tools, but just because we have tools doesn't mean that we can't make more of it. We can have, it's about, like making it easier, more readily accessible.
All right. So, I guess he did cut. I didn't know it was 40% of the research for science in general, but
that's sad, man.
I mean, yeah, but maybe we the people can build it up. Maybe it's not. Everything shouldn't just be left on the government to handle.
Okay, so who's gonna fund science?
Again, we're not the only country. I mean, if we're
but I'm American and I care about American families. So like, who's gonna fund American science?
Who? We the people.
Okay. Wait. So we the people are going to fund it. So how are you going to have money from we the people to fund science then?
Yeah, like there's like global or not global. There's like GoFundmes that these science researchers they start up the GoFundmes and they get up hella money. It's not like.
Dude, I mean, the GoFundMe is okay. So we're talking about like millions of dollars that are needed in order to like fund these, studies that are 5 years long. So I mean, it's not like a GoFundMe for $50,000 or something that's gonna, drastically impact stuff.
Yeah. I know it's like companies. Like it's not just like a personal GoFundMe. It's I don't even know if I'm pretty sure they use GoFundMe to do these things, but like GoFundMe's not just used for one person to get their own shit, every time. There is
what so don't you think if we left it up to the private companies, like what kind of science do you think would be funded if it was just companies that were funding like research?
Well, I mean, again, if the company wants to do something, then they're gonna have to also get the money to do that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of getting handouts from the government.
Yeah,
the government has their own people who, like Dr. Fauci, people like him. It's not like we just have to give random scientists a bunch of shit.
And they don't give random scientists like money. They don't. That's not how it works. So it's very competitive in order to get these grants. It's like very competitive. So, I mean, the problem is that the libertarian model of just no taxing for science and no public funding for science, what happens is that you have a scenario where for-profit companies now are going to invest money into ways that makes them more money. So you're not going to develop like groundbreaking new research. You're just going to fund, things that make companies money. And that's kind of the problem. So a good example is like Gila monster, those like lizards, those weird looking lizards. Basically 30 years ago, science found out that they had a really interesting different type of metabolism, and they needed to figure out how and why their metabolism was the way it was. So that was research done 30 years ago. And then just now, starting like 5 years ago, they created Ozempic from that. So Gila monster DNA Gila monster metabolism studies 30 years ago, and then 25 years later, you have the technology built from that foundational research, and then now you have it to the point where for-profit companies are actually going to buy that license, right? And that they're going to create that medicine now based off of that. So basically, why we have to fund, science through public funds is because there's no profit. For that 25 years, there is no profit to be made, so it just won't ever get done. We'll never move the needle. We'll never better understand the world.
All right. I will say, I was about to say, why would we even need to research a lizard, like that? But I guess Ozempic, it is a big worldwide thing. All the celebrities are taking it. I think Trump could actually use it, not to make fun of him, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of people, like 60% of the United States is obese, man. So it's a huge quality of life improvement for a lot of people. It decreases our healthcare costs, improves their quality of life. It's a huge thing.
I mean, Ozempic's not cheap though. Exactly. I'm not saying you're wrong about the
I agree
part of it helping out the people. I mean, it does. If you really think about it, if we just this country's just in love with food for some reason, and they could probably bring it down. And I think that might be the reason Trump doesn't take it, because he actually just does love food. So he has no reason to stop eating.
Mm-hmm.
And
but do you see why? Do you see why though? That's like an example of why it's important to fund research and the research that's being funded. It's very competitive, man. Scientists are ruthless against one another. Basically what happens is that there is a pool of money that's created, and this is called a grant. Basically a pool, and the grants are individual slices of that pool of money. So the professor asks for money from that slice and says, these are the resources that I have. This is my expertise in this area. This is the university that I'm at. This is the other publications that I've been able to do that at. And what happens is a bunch of other professors go and they democratically vote on what grants they actually fund. So it's highly competitive. Like not a lot of most professors don't get these coveted grants, and then they get those grants, and then they have to report back to the NSF, NIH, or whatever it is. Like, hey, this is what I did with your money. I did these publications. I did this research. This is what I produced from that. So they're held accountable. They're funded specifically. They're very competitive, so only the best ones get funded.
I will say though, because maybe the people, cause it's not like he just chopped up the spending for everything in general. It was like specific thing. He did. It was specific.
He stopped $100 billion straight away. He just stopped all grants.
No, what I was getting at, it was two specific things.
No, he didn't. No, it was all across the entire all of the grants. So he didn't do that specifically to different things.
Oh, okay. Well,
because and I'll tell you why. I mean, he said it. It's because he felt like the universities were ideologically opposed to them, so that he wanted them to bend the knee. So he stopped all science spending to those institutions in order for them to show servitude to him.
That's a pretty bad reason, to be honest. But
I agree.
Are they complaining? Like, are they sued Harvard or whatever?
They sued, yeah. But most of the universities, because they are funded by these grants, and it's like their lifeblood. Most of them actually paid. So they paid the Trump administration in order to, like, a ransom, in order to get it back. It's really only like Harvard that has like a $50 billion endowment that could actually like sue in order to get some of their money back.
But like what I was getting at is about, are they like complaining? Is it like, is there a drought in research going on? Like, did the research just like slow down? Are we just like
Well, now there is, yeah. There's research is being stopped across a lot of different disciplines. A lot of grad students, their cohorts are like a tenth the size. Normally they're taking like 20 new PhDs. Now they're taking like 2, or they're completely stopping all new PhD graduates. So it's a wholesale cloth, man. And this is only, basically from these public funds, we create publications from them, and then from those publications we get patents, and then patents are used to spin out and create new technology companies based off of that. So think about the scenario that the United States would be in if we didn't create the silicon chip, if we didn't create the internet, if we didn't create the personal computer, if Nvidia wasn't an American company. Like, our entire economy would be in a completely different spot. Like, we are only where we are economically because we invested into science 100 years ago, 75 years ago, and now these are American companies, and we lead the world in these technologies.
Well, China is actually the future for technology, specifically artificial technology. So,
I think okay. But I'm a patriot. Okay, I'm an American patriot. I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist in America, man. So like, I think that China has their own values and their own thing that they're pushing. I think that the United States academic system is better, in my opinion, because we're more open. We have more solid publications. We research a wider breadth of things. So I think that we do an exceptional job, and the United States is already the #1 place in the world for research. So, like, why stymie one of the things that we do so exceptionally well?
I mean, we're still doing great things, though. You got to admit. I mean, we're going back to the moon soon. I know that's not exactly. I mean, it is science, but it's not the really science you probably care about. But
it's funded with previous funds, and it can create new excitement for space and stuff. But yeah, dude, I do think that it's ridiculous that we had an NSF that was funded, the National Science Foundation was funded at $30 billion, but now the proposed budget next year is $4 billion. I mean, that's nothing, man. That's pennies. Like $4 billion nowadays for all of the science spending in the United States.
This is definitely not. I know for Trump it's not temporary, but in the future we do have more presidents to come. I mean, Trump's only got 2 years left. But
it's happening now. Like, I was laid off specifically because of Trump's these cuts and the tariffs specifically. Basically, I worked for the largest chemical company in the world, bro, the largest one, and they pulled out all of their research and development spending in the United States because it's too risky. There's too many wild economic things that are happening, and they didn't trust it. So Germany pulled out 50% of their investments in the United States. So not only are companies not spending money in the United States now for the next generation of companies, but other countries are now pulling out of the United States.
Yeah. So. Again, I know this is a big deal for people like you who have their jobs on the line and stuff like that. But is this actually gonna cause a crisis? I don't think it would. We're still doing great things, and we're continuing to do great things. And obviously, it just happened. I'm assuming there was something to do with the Doge, because that's what they do.
No, it had to do with the tariffs and the cuts in academia. It didn't have anything to do with Doge. But
Doge though is the Department of Government Efficiency, and they're the people. Government funds all these type of things, and I would assume them cutting the science.
It wasn't. They just. It was in the broadest sense, but they just stopped it wholesale. It wasn't Doge was going in and figuring out what's going on. the capital expenditure, which is like the business term for how companies like spend money in the United States, is down in the United States. It's not like companies are spending less money in the United States. It's not a Doge thing. Like other countries are spending less money in the United States. It's not a Doge thing. It's just like, these separate entities, independent entities are saying that the United States isn't a safe investment, and if it's interesting that you say that, like, that China is the future, and basically cutting these investments in our new research and development, basically, bro, I mean, we're solidifying that right now with Trump is basically solidifying that China will be the future. And I mean, as a patriot, I'm like, what's going, like, why would that be our president of the United States stance to lift up and help China be the world superpower for the rest of my life?
Again, it's America is there's different uses. China they're good on their technology and stuff like that. For some reason, I mean, they're not going back to the moon, so it's not like they're that great. But I don't know. It's definitely like they have different uses. America has its own superpower. We're a superpower in our own way, and China's a superpower in their own way. And obviously, like, America will still be one of the greatest countries to live in.
Not in science, and our economy is only great because of the technologies that we created here, and we create technologies through science. So, like, in your generation, you're not seeing it now because you probably don't know any scientists that are been, like, laid off, but like it's worse than the Great Depression, right? The Great Recession in 2008 for scientists and engineers in California right now. It's like, it's not just like this small thing. It's a wholesale cloth. Like, I mean, we lost 10,000 PhD scientists in our federal government. It's a generational shift, man.
What if you and I don't exactly mean this in like I'm not like
You're fine.
I'm almost saying this in a rhetorical way, but have you thought about, like, maybe going to places like China? Or I know Japan's thirsty for people,
bro,
like you.
I love the United States. I think that there are things that are exceptional about the United States, and I'm a patriot in the United States. So why wouldn't I try to make my country better? And
They
I'm an
obviously
American.
they obviously turned their back on people like you. So
Yeah,
I think you should turn your back on them.
I think that you could. I mean, people could, right? I mean, but like, imagine if everyone did that.
No, exactly. Y'all could, like, scientists, they could literally just protest by leaving America and working for people like China. And then what's America going to do now? They're going to be forced to refund. And we will refund them once we get another president. It's probably going to have to be.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe, hopefully. But the idea of, like, the next president going, okay, guys, we're going to make the NSF budget from $4 billion to $20 billion, plus 400%. And I mean, nature, yeah, you're right in chat. Like, there are countries, and Canada specifically, that are trying to poach scientists from the United States. So, I mean, it is a very strong case to be made that actually, the only reason why the United States is currently where we are economically is because of what happened in Germany in World War II and the exile of physicists that happened there. And those physicists going and working at the Manhattan Project creates the technology for the GPS and the satellites and the silicon chip and, the internet that was all created here because of that, and that as a catalyst. So, the immigration of scientists is a catalyst for new generations of economics, and like to just push all the next generation of scientists out is asinine.
To be honest, the biggest people really never came from America. America might have, like, bought them in. But Albert Einstein, for instance, where was he? I don't know exactly where he was, but I think he was Italian. Germany took him over. They were basically bitching him and forcing him to help out them for what's it called? The nuke and shit like that.
The Manhattan
And
Project? Like, what do you mean? I mean, they were exiled from Europe because of what happened in World War II. So they came here.
exactly, we bought them out after. We always they're the scientists, the great ones, are never exactly born here, but we buy them out because we're American. We're the richest
What do you mean?
country.
We have the best scientists in the world that are like here right now. Like, what do you mean? Like, why would we?
No,
Why
no,
would
no.
why would
China
we?
does.
No, not even close. That's not even close to being correct. China's not the best scientists in the world, dude.
All right, so who's the top three for science?
I mean, you probably don't even know what their names are, and that's the problem.
No,
Like,
no, no. Countries.
do you understand? Do you even know who David R. Liu is? Do you even know who like Jennifer Doudna is? Like, do you even know? Like, I mean, I could name off like a dozen scientists that you wouldn't
No,
even
I don't
know.
know the name of scientists, but I was getting at who's the top three countries because
So, okay, so if you're talking about like amount of publications and you're talking about the amount of patents, China is in the lead. But what it excels at in the United States is basically the quality of our research. So we have, the most reproducible papers, we have the most economic output from the patents that we create. Those type of like the next generation of medicines is being developed here. The next generation of technology or physics and that kind of stuff, it is in the United States, like right
I
now.
would say though people like, for instance, Big Pharma, they're kind of abusing their power and they like to scam the American people when they don't have to do that. They could.
Okay, so you're conflating. So this is it's not just you. This is it's like my forever problem. Like pharmaceutical companies are different than research and development. So again, the research and development in the universities is studying the lizard, right? In our GLP-1 example, they are studying the lizard, but then it has to go through multiple steps in order to get to the pharmaceutical company. And then it gets to the point where, okay, we need millions of dosages in order to manufacture something extremely precisely with no contamination risk. And that's when a pharmaceutical company steps in and says, hey, we have the actual infrastructure in order to take this on. So we're going to buy this license and do that. So that's where they come in.
Yeah, I get that. I know but my point is maybe we should kind of what's the word, hold them hostage, people like Big Pharma, by, if we're stopping the funding, then we're also stopping Big Pharma and people like that from abusing their power and they're able to just do whatever they want because they're getting all the money. And I don't know, I think I'm not saying this is the exact correlation to why Trump did it. And
so the pharmaceutical companies and their relation to our healthcare and like the feeling that we have and the frustrations that we have as healthcare. We need healthcare, and we have a healthcare system that is inherently inefficient, and that is separate, right? That is separate than the research and development that happens. And basically what's going to happen is that we either have the technology and we create the technology here in the United States, or the pharmaceutical companies that are stationed here, right? They are going to buy those licenses and they're going to buy that technology from other countries. So it's going to be these pharmaceutical companies that, instead of bolstering, American technology, American jobs, American families, they're going to be buying licenses from China. So like, why, in what world would it be better for pharmaceutical companies to be giving their money to Chinese families than American families if you're an American?
But my point with saying this is kind of the people with the power who receive all the technology and shit like that. That's kind of their fault because they're not really here to help us. They're here to discover things and learn new things.
They don't
But it's not
discover
like
things.
they're actually.
They don't like.
No,
They
no,
don't,
I'm not.
again, they
No,
don't
no, no.
like pharmaceutical companies don't.
I'm saying that, yeah, I know the Big Pharma, they're not like scientists. They're just the company who deals the cards. They get the cards and they deal them.
Okay.
And my point is, those people like that, because of course Big Pharma is not the only big company that receives all the stuff from these scientists. They're definitely, it's not like y'all are actually helping us, because y'all just, scientists, they discover these things, and it's not like they actually give them to the people. It's not like they're actually helping us. I mean,
What are you talking about? You're talking to me right now through the internet, which was researched and developed by scientists. You're talking to me through a computer that's ran by a CPU that is developed and created by physicists. You're like, I mean, do you mean to go down the line? Like what?
yeah, but we
your
couldn't buy all
life
this
has been
stuff from China.
No, it's been manufactured there, but the technology that runs them and the money that's created from the technology itself is American companies. So American companies like created the technology that then they go and say, okay, we're going to assemble these parts in China. They're not Chinese companies. We're not Chinese products. The internet wasn't a Chinese product that we are paying China for. Like that, it's completely different.
And we're because we're gonna talk about like AI and the internet are still doing great things with that. Elon Musk, he didn't create Tesla, he bought Tesla, but people like him, they're doing things like using artificial intelligence to. One day, this America will be run off technology, like places like China and Japan are. They're literally like not strictly, but they're hardly run off artificial intelligence. And one day America will be like that, even though there is cutbacks on the funding. It's not like anything's changed.
No, but even still, even okay, so even the manufacture and the creation of new technologies through AI. I mean, this is a great example, dude. The AI, the technology that is funneling and being created, like, runs on NVIDIA chips. And NVIDIA is getting money off of the fact that China is developing with their chips. Do you see what I mean? So like, again, where is the money going? Well, it helps to have American companies make money off of other people using our technology. And if it was just Chinese companies, like, and Chinese chips, that's actually what the whole thing with, with Trump going to China this week, that's what the whole thing was about, basically, because Taiwan has TSMC, which is a chip manufacturing company, and China desperately wants to make their own chips in China, and they can't do that yet. They don't have the technology. They don't have the capability yet. So NVIDIA is basically is a chip manufacturer that is made in TSMC, and China wants TSMC, which is a Taiwanese company, to be Chinese because they want to make their own chips and have Chinese chips. So, because then they can make their own models, which is like DeepSeek. Have you ever heard of it? But they can't. So what's happened within the last year, or it's actually been like 3 years, because Biden actually imposed a tariff on China so that they couldn't have NVIDIA chips in order to try to let the American companies to basically like get ahead of the game. And basically this whole trip was about NVIDIA being allowed now to sell NVIDIA chips directly to China, which honestly kind of puts the American companies at a bad spot, man, because Trump is basically kind of selling us out to China and letting China like train their models now off of NVIDIA chipsets, and it's going to be a harder thing for our companies to compete now. So Trump is helping China develop.
Yeah, and I get that, but I don't think it's like such a bad thing if we let China be the superpower in that area, exactly, in that field. No. We're still like excelling, like we're excelling in the fact that this country is. It's not like everything just stopped because the funding stopped. Stuff is still going on. People like, other than people like you who have jobs to lose, like the American people, like normal citizens are they're not getting affected by this.
I'm a normal
And
citizen. I'm a dad. I have 4 kids. That's an American family, bro. Like it's crazy.
no,
Like when Trump, so when Obama favored, basically they created this carbon cap on coal-fired power plants. Okay, and coal-fired power plants were basically too expensive to make, and it was tried to incentivize natural gas power plants. And basically, this whole thing, there was years of Republicans crying and saying how unfair it was that the Obama administration was unduly impacting American families by impacting the coal the coal miner. And the coal miner, it's a cultural thing that we have to preserve, and we have to, those are American jobs. And it's not fair to coal miners that they have to learn how to do this new job and all that kind of stuff. Years of that, man. And objectively, like, coal mining is just bad for the environment. It's probably a bad job to have. It's unhealthy, so it's just weird now to like talk to Republicans, and they're just like, yeah, well, I mean, it's go pound sand. Who cares? Move to a different country. And you're like, what? Democrats were like proposing to like retrain the coal miners. They were proposing to help these coal miners get new jobs. Like all these different ways that Democrats like went out of their way to try to help these coal miners. But then the Republicans are just excited to like let scientists move, or the idea that like it's a good thing actually that China takes over the United States in this stuff. It's wild. It's really weird, man.
well, I want to say it's like the best thing, but it is kind of like a trade-off because we are different countries, not like completely different. Like they're communist. People don't like to call them that. Apparently, people like to call them socialist. Doesn't really matter. Same thing, to be honest. But we're a capitalist country. Most people are here to start businesses, run businesses, and they're not exactly here to be scientists. If you want to,
But no, dude, no. The technology that like companies are made off of patents. Like that is what it is. You don't have a company if you don't have a patent. And where do those patents come from? Those patents come from creating something unique in the world. It's a unique process. It's a unique object. Yeah. And those patents come from science. That is just, it's a one-to-one.
And let's bring in someone like Elon Musk. He's doing great things basically on his own. Of course, he's having government assistance, but most of this he's damn near did this on his own. I'm pretty sure he's the first.
We spent $200 billion a year subsidizing him. He is the richest person in the world. He's gone from $20 billion to $800 billion in the last 6 years. Tesla hasn't paid any income tax like for 3 years. He doesn't pay any income tax. And we give Tesla $200 billion a year in Defense Department contracts. And we can't even but we can't afford $4 billion for the National Science Foundation.
Yeah, and I will say it's like we don't need to hold this money, but Elon Musk, I know he's getting money from the government, but he's still excelling. He's the reason he's the reason Waymo even tried doing what they're doing. He's the reason there's Teslas all over the street, everywhere nowadays. I mean, you go outside, you see electrical vehicles everywhere. He's the reason for that. He's the reason we were able to land spaceships back on Earth.
Thank you, guys.
I'm pretty sure that's never been done before without SpaceX. I might be wrong on that, but SpaceX is doing great things. Tesla's doing great things, and that's just one man. I'm not really. Of course, we still have our like AI itself, like DeepSeek, excelling.
DeepSeek is Chinese. That's not. Oh. He has XAI, and Tesla is like but bro, like okay, let's just compare and contrast. Okay, $200 billion for a single company, Tesla, okay, versus $5 billion for the entire science industry across all of academia and all the universities across the entire United States, and all of those families and all of those companies that are created from that, versus one guy and one company. Like, don't you think that that is like innately corrupt? And this guy just happens to be the same guy who spent $400 million of his own money to elect Donald Trump. Like, isn't that just nakedly corrupt?
Our universities themselves are corrupt.
No, they're not.
They
dude.
have all, before, this cutting, they had all this money and all this power, and they're not, like, they're elite schools, but they're really just framed as that. You can go to I forgot the other university, and I think it's in the UK, or it's somewhere over there around the UK.
Oxford?
It's way better. No, it's, that one's good too, obviously, but that's basically just a knockoff Harvard.
But the universities are held accountable to all the money that is spent in these grants. They are held accountable. So a lot of times you get these ridiculous stories of, like, Rand Paul's like, why do we need to spend $1 million to figure out how shrimp run underwater? Like this kind of like nonsense, versus, like, again, like, think about saying, like, I guarantee you his dad in the 90s were saying, why do we need to spend, $1 million to study Gila monster, metabolism, or how lizards eat? And it's like, well, wow, now that we, 30 years down the line, we have $1 trillion market for a medicine now. I mean, it's like the ROI here is like unfathomable, bro. Like, it's crazy. But the ROI, like, how much money do you think that the United States is getting off of our hundreds of billions of dollars that we're spending and giving to Tesla? Like, what are we getting back for that?
Yeah, I think it's more just how it is like things like that are affecting the country. We have so much things that America has done that affect the country. Because I'm assuming that we made what's it called, the thing that makes you skinny. I already forgot the name.
Ozempic?
I don't know why I can't think. Yeah, Ozempic. I'm assuming that Americans are the ones who started that, and we started Tesla, and we're all these things. Like, it's not like we're just useless. It's not like, and it's not like we're gonna fall down to the bottom of the barrel. We're still gonna be top 3 in this field, even with the $4 billion spending limit. And I'm not saying that I think we should keep it at $4 billion. I'm just saying that it's not the biggest, like, worst thing that's happened to this country.
It's an avalanche effect. So basically, like, I don't think that it's a coincidence that the same country that helped invent the silicon chip and the GPS technology and the satellites and the personal computer is also the same one that is, the same country that is innovating AI and creating an entire new field that is going to revolutionize the world. But once you get behind on the 8 ball on that, once you get behind on that research and development, like, the thing is when you have in the stock market, or you have countries, or you have other companies, like, they're just not going to develop in the United States versus going somewhere else. It's just when the United States becomes too risky and is too bad, at that field, there's just the research and development funds just aren't going to go through the United States. And we're going to be having this conversation in 30 years, and we're going to be like, man, why did our economy just completely stall and stagnate? And because now nobody wants to move here. Now nobody wants to create businesses here. Now countries don't want to invest here. Like, what happened? And we can look back and be like, wow, that's why. I mean, there's actually, the best analogy is, in the 70s. So the United States actually created the photovoltaic, like the solar panels. Like, we created that technology here in the United States. Carter was super proud of that and put it on the White House. And because of that, because Reagan basically was, a crybaby, similar to Trump, he dismantled the entire solar voltaic business, like all the industry and all that kind of stuff, took the solar panels off the White House, all that kind of stuff. And well, guess what? So China took that field over and those technologies and said, well, if the United States isn't going to, be a leader in this field, we are. So China started, in the 80s and the 90s, they started investing heavily into the manufacturing and the research of photovoltaic cells, like and solar panels. So what's happened is, the solar panels that are on my roof right now, they're from China. All solar panels are from China because it's called an economy of scale. So when you make and manufacture lots of different things, it becomes cheaper and cheaper over time because you have more of them and it's just cheaper to make. So now all the economy of scale is in China. The United States will never invest hundreds of billions of dollars just to manufacture solar panels in the United States. It doesn't make any sense. It would be better to just buy those solar panels from China. So do you see what I mean? Like, we push this field to China. Now it's permanently there and we're never going to get it back. And that's going to happen with our lives and our economy and our technology leadership. It's just, we're seeing it unravel right now.
All right, so that was a lot. Let me start off with saying this is a bit useless, but Jimmy Carter sucked. Only reason I liked him is because he was a Christian.
Why did he suck?
Yeah, he sucked. He was he's like a top 10 worst president. If
Why?
You're, of course, not counting those people in the 1800s that were forced slavery, but if we're talking about an actual, president, he sucked.
Why?
Are you a Jimmy Carter fan?
I mean, in this instance, why not? Why wouldn't you be for leading the world in solar panel production?
In this instance, if we're talking about that specifically, that would be, that's one of the good things.
Yeah.
But overall, he was a shit president. That's just I don't know if you're also are you a Democrat? Are you also an Obama fan? Obama over Trump, who would you rather have?
Obama 1,000 times. I mean, Trump is literally trying to dismantle my field and come for me, and I lost my job because of Trump specifically. Don't you think I should have some personal animosity against this guy?
Well, yeah, I get. I mean, I get that it personally affected you, so it does suck. But you do have other options. You can. There is other countries who would want you, because obviously America doesn't want you.
But no, that's not how it works. I mean, so that you guys are stuck in here with me, and what's going to happen is that we're going to use this as an example in order to never have anyone like Trump elected again, because that's how democracy works.
You don't want anyone like Trump. Who would be like Trump?
It doesn't matter. Anyone that is anti-science and all this nonsense, we're going to smear the Republican Party for the rest of my life and talk about the negative impacts that this type of sequestration and austerity in science and technology will have. Why would I leave?
The thing is, though, you're acting like this just happened, but China has always...
It just did happen.
No. I'm talking about China has always been ahead of us in this field.
No, you're wrong. What are you talking about? Germany literally invested into the United States for this research and development site that I worked at, and instead of investing their money in China, they invested it in the United States because we were a leader in this space. This just happened. This is happening currently.
I get in the present time, we purposely seems to be purposely stepped back in the the technology fields, but it's not like we have always been, since after World War II, been behind them.
Oh, exactly. And before this, we were in the right direction, and now we are veering into a scenario where we are going to have lifelong impacts, just like the solar voltaic example, where it only takes one president to dismantle an entire industry to see that industry be dismantled. You know what I mean? In a way, you're saying that Trump isn't powerful and none of this is going to have an impact, but it's we are seeing example after example, and we've seen it in the past where these things just don't come back.
Okay, why did the senators or Senate, why did they allow this to happen?
It wasn't voted on. It wasn't voted on. Basically, the Trump administration illegally, unconstitutionally, in my opinion, decided that and thinks again unconstitutionally that it can line item veto anything in the budget. So I mean, it's obviously like it's insane. It's unconstitutional in my opinion.
Well, if it's unconstitutional, that wouldn't be like a opinion. I don't know if it's unconstitutional. I don't really.
Yeah, because Congress decides the budget and they voted on the budget. So like the executive branch doesn't get to decide like line by line what it's okay. If they don't like the budget, then they veto the budget, right? And then Congress has to rework it, and it goes back and forth until they can all agree. Once the executive signs the budget, then the budget's the budget.
Yeah. So like, again, like, are you is this like completely stopping you from getting like another job? And I'm not underthrowing the fact that he kind of fucked you over and a bunch of other people like you, but is there literally no other options for you and people like you?
The problem is like I said, it is the CapEx or the capital expenditure by these companies isn't increasing. Like the money isn't flowing from the federal government in terms of like science spending. So like more like the biotechnology companies basically aren't spending money in the United States. The political scenario and the economic scenario actually isn't getting any easier for foreign countries or foreign companies to invest money into the United States. So it's creating a scenario where there just aren't jobs for me. I've applied to over 200 jobs, man. Like I've applied and other fields too, not even just like, molecular biology, all this kind of stuff. Like I've applied to a lot of different stuff, but the problem is when you have over tens of thousands of scientists now that are unemployed, now it's like every single job has 300-400 applicants to it. So it's like, it's extremely like it's really impossible.
And so, what do you think would fix this issue? I mean, obviously, refunding would fix it.
Yeah.
But do you have any like Alexa in mind? Has anyone actually spoke out against this? Because even like political debaters, they don't ever talk about this. Yeah. And
it's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating because people don't know scientists. Scientist is a very niche profession. It's like a lot of times I'm the first scientist that anyone has ever talked to. So I think that it's a good question, and thank you for asking it. I think one, you have to have Trump that says, hey, I'm not going to do any of these rogue out of the blue tariffs, which has been ruled unconstitutional multiple times by the Supreme Court, because the tariffs create a scenario where a company or a country is trying to invest into the United States, and they're trying to line item their budgets and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden a 20% tax is just levied on them, and they're like, well, okay, well then now our budget's completely gone, and now we have a problem here that we didn't have before, and now it's not economical in order to us to invest. So that type of uncertainty doesn't behoove business development, basically. So that would be the first thing. Two, like restoring the actual funding for science and through academia in the United States. That would help the universities, and because the universities spend that money. So this is another thing that we haven't really talked about, but this is another way that it's impacted. So basically, the universities have money that they spend on supplies and equipment and costs that are American jobs. So like I'm a biologist, right? So as a biologist, like I work with things that exist in the world, like proteins and DNA and these type of things. There's instruments that need to be serviced. There's materials that need to be made. There's reagents that need to be QC'd and all these kind of things. Like it creates a business economy that's around these universities that are private companies. So it's not just like this thing where it's like, oh, well, academia and universities, it just hurts the public funds and those academics. It's it's biotechs, it's private companies, it's a whole, all of those companies are impacted. So restoring the funding there actually helps drive new spending by the universities into these economies and into these local economies, and it would only be better.
Yeah, and I get the fact that you would definitely not like someone like Trump, but I mean, I'm assuming someone like you. I have noticed that a lot of people who go to college, even just that, and like the bare minimum of being smart, and especially like scientists, they're all definitely democratic.
Yeah, I don't know a single MAGA scientist.
Yeah, and after this, I would definitely see why. But
exactly, yeah. I mean, rightly so, right? I mean, like he's trying to dismantle your job. I mean, or your career. Like you've invested your life into something, and he's trying to dismantle it. So it's like, but I think, look, man, I think what happens is that you have like conservative ideologies. Conservative ideologies basically are a reaction to progress that's being made. Progress is being made. There is a step forward that is being proposed, and conservative ideologies inherently are saying no. Con, no, pro, yes. Conservative, progressive. That is kind of like inherent to this thing. So in academia, when you are researching how things work, you're researching new methods, you're researching how things like are created and are moving forward, you're going to be proposing new ideas inherently. It is like academia as a institution is inherently progressive because you see that the world can be better. You think that a new technology can be formed, right? And so you have to kind of be optimistic about things. So that's why inherent to academia is a more progressive outlook in how the world works. So, a conservative ideology, how do you research? No. Like, what is the thing that you're proposing is going to happen, or the thing that is going to be bettered by saying no? Do you know what I mean? It's like that's why these things like happen.
Yeah, and to be honest, because me personally, I would I would be I'll never stop being a conservative for certain reasons because I'm a Christian, and the Republican Party tends to have more Christian ideologies, especially recently with the Charlie Kirk.
Dude, I would think it's the opposite. I would think it's like if you're a Christian, there's no way that you would ever support like a Republican. Like for the Democratic Party is inherently more Christian.
No, this is a little bit off topic, but something I've also noticed with a lot of smart people, they love or not love, but they think getting an AB and a abortion is fine, and that's like it's moral. It's not a problem, and as a Christian, that does go against Christian values.
They literally outline they literally outline a procedure to have an abortion in the Bible. It's there's a woman that drinks and has a tonic in order to stop a pregnancy. It's in the Bible.
That was punishment. That was a punishment.
Okay, but that's I mean, isn't that? I mean, but what about Jesus and how he's talking about feeding the hungry, curing the sick, like you're going and loving thy neighbor. Like, what about these like values that like Jesus talks about way more times in the Bible are those values?
Yeah, and I guess someone like Obama, for instance, he was kind of feeding the hungry. Like free school lunches, etc.
Yes,
the healthcare.
Yes,
Obamacare. It's one of those things that look good on paper, but if it did end up rolling out, it would not have been a good thing. I don't know if you disagree or agree.
I think it should be way more expansive. We should be doing a lot more than a lot less, in order to help people, in the United States. When I can afford it, we can definitely afford it. There's no reason for people to lose their life from a lack of healthcare in the United States, man.
Yeah, and Trump specifically with the Big Beautiful Bill kind of did mess up the healthcare industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's just Trump. To be honest, if we talk about his first term, that's like what a president, that's what a real president. But this recent term, It's a little bit shit, and I think he's really just focused on going to war and abusing as much power he has before he just dies. I think that's really all he cares about right now.
Yeah, it's very
But
frustrating.
that's no
I agree.
reason to say that every Republican's going to be shit. There's good people like J.D. Vance, who's actually a great person.
But how can you say that when he hasn't done anything to differentiate himself and actually stood up for any of his values? Like, how does that work? Like, in the time that we need these people to stand up the most, all these people have done is been subservient to Trump and idolizing him like a fake god.
Okay, there's like certain things he has done. Like, for instance,
there's literally golden statues. There's literally golden statues. I mean, right? I mean, isn't that wild? They pray over him. They pray over him. And Trump puts out like images, AI images of him as Jesus.
Yeah, I'll say Trump himself's not a good. He's definitely not something, if you're a Christian, to idolize. And that kind of sucks because I think someone like Charlie Kirk actually did think he was going to do great things. And then it's like the second Charlie Kirk died, Trump just went fucking apeshit. And he went to war with Iran and he started posting pictures of him as the Pope and Jesus and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like if we had someone like, just in a utopia world, if we had someone like, what's his name, Charlie Kirk as president, it would be a lot better than any sloppy Democratic president or Trump.
What policies of a Charlie Kirk presidency would you have wanted to see? Like, what would be the things that you would be looking for to see that, like, okay, this is good?
Charlie Kirk in specific, he's a Christian nationalist, so he would have definitely done a lot of things like hard restrictions on abortion. He would have. He was a little bit hardcore with his immigration policies. He wanted every illegal out. Trump's only actually trying to kick out the people who are illegal immigrants who are committing illegal acts.
Do you know 70%? You know 70% of the people that are detained by ICE have committed no crime.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, 70%. And there's been U.S. citizens that have been deported, man.
No. Actually, no U.S. citizen has been deported, but they have been detained. No.
There has been. Yes, there has been. Yes.
Well, are you talking about the
Japan? There's a guy in
MS-13
Japan.
member?
No, there's a guy in Japan.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that one, but I know people always like to talk about that dude who got deported to El Salvador, and he was an MS-13 member, which, let's say he was legal, which he wasn't. I think we should kick out gang members, and because for a very good reason. I don't even have to explain that.
No way, dude. No, dude, if anyone, think about this, okay? Someone does a heinous crime to your mom. Okay, someone that I would want, my mom and your mom to be treated the same way, because you know what I mean. We have the same love. That we should all aspire for our system to look after each other's mothers, in the same way, right? Like, imagine if someone that was an immigrant came and attacked your mom, and she lost her life because of that. And now this person who's detained and in U.S. prison. Now Trump says, I want that guy and I want to ship him to El Salvador. And now this guy who you want to see justice, you want to see American justice, right? Because I mean, I'm a patriot. I think that the United States justice system is imperfect, but I think that it genuinely is one of the best justice systems in the world. Now, instead of American justice being like pushed on that guy, now he's spending his time in El Salvador so that he has to spend $2,000 in order to, pay off the guards. And now he's out in some third world country. And now what justice do you have?
Well, the prison system in America sucks. I don't know about the other countries, so I can't actually put it on a scale compared to those countries. But I'm a strong advocate for the death penalty, and I think MS-13 members, depending on what they do, so obviously just being in there doesn't mean you've done something bad, but a lot of them, we need to push for the death penalty federally.
How does that? How do you reconcile that with being a strong Christian? Don't you have to? What about repentance? What about people that are trying to be a better person after that?
No, okay, because there's one thing that has been repeated in all five books of the first five. I think it was the Torah, which is the first five books of the Old Testament. Is if you unalive a person, you shall get unalived, and if you grape someone, you shall be unalived. The Bible does advocate for the death penalty. I don't know if you knew that, because I know you could say the Ten Commandments says, "Thou shalt not kill," but if you kill, you get killed. That's exactly what it says. Well, not like that in that way, but there are certain cases where it advocates for the death penalty, and that's one of the things Charlie Kirk was for. But he was a little bit strong on it because he said he wanted to bring back public executions, and I don't think I want.
Ironic, you know.
No, exactly. No, that's not something to laugh about, because
I mean, it is. It's funny. I mean, I mean, it is. But
because of course you are you. I did want to kind of question you. Are you an atheist?
Yeah, I'm a Christian atheist.
What? No, so you believe in God?
No. So I think that I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ, and I think that like what he talked about was like aspirational. That that we should look after one another, love thy neighbor. That it's evil to be rich. It's easier for a camel to get to the eye of the needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And we should do what we can in order to like think about his teachings. But I just don't think that he was the Son of Christ. I mean, so the Son of God.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. The Jefferson Bible. Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I've created. That you can look up Christian atheism. I mean, it's what I grew up on, and it's the values that I espouse. It's what my mom taught me, and it's how I view like the moral framing of my world. So it's like, even though I've deconstructed from like God being real, and I don't think that there's like a supernatural world, I still have that basis in that framing that I advocate and understand the world through.
That's kind of like what Elon Musk used to be before he truly converted to Christianity. He liked, because he's a what's it called? I can't even think of the word, but he really likes the Bible. He really likes the teachings, but he never really cared to actually practice Christianity, as like he doesn't really praise God. He doesn't go to church and whatnot, but a lot of people do just love the Bible. I do personally. I think the Bible is great, no matter what you believe. I think, of course, there's a couple like weird things. That's because the Old Testament was a little bit weird for slavery and whatnot. But
yeah, exactly.
That was also part of the Torah, the first five books of the Old Testament, and I'm not saying that's not part of the Bible, but I don't know. It's certain things of the Bible, you got to look at it a certain way. You can't just like look at it and automatically call it good or bad. You got to actually know how to interpret it. But I did want to ask, like, because a lot of like scientists, they are just like naturalists. They, of course, if you're a scientist, it would be really hard to be religious because. I don't know, but do you think abortion's fine?
Yeah, it's healthcare. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Without it, you basically create a scenario where physicians are afraid to actually perform, any type of healthcare on women, and any woman that presents to the emergency room isn't touched, isn't cared for, and people are losing their life because of it. There's actually someone that's in my community. Her daughter, was pregnant, comes into the emergency room, excruciating pain. Something's going wrong. They know something's going wrong. They go to the emergency room and they say, we can't touch her because she's pregnant, so we can't do anything. They had to wait until she was crashing out, when she was on the verge of death, in order to actually like look at her and assess her and understand what's going on. And then at that point, it was too late, and that she died because of that.
Yeah, I do believe in certain few cases, such as that case, probably where it would be permissible.
Do you realize that, like, in order to save the life of the mother in these cases, that it's called an elective abortion? That is that's the medical terminology.
No, in that case, would it not be selective?
it's an elective abortion because you are electing in order to do that procedure. Because like theoretically you could no, not my daughter. Someone in my communities, her is the mother of someone that happened. Thankfully, this has never happened to me, because it's called an elective abortion because basically you could have a scenario where, I mean, if there is a problem like that, you could induce labor. So that is the other pathway. But a lot of times in these scenarios, that's way more dangerous, and you're going to lose both of them. So that's why you elect to have the abortion.
Yeah, and it's not like the abortion laws, whenever they restrict it, they don't just say elective or selective or banned.
It is.
There's very like they make it like certain things. Like I'm in Texas, and
she died in Texas. That case that is literally in Texas that you're talking about. Like no,
it's probably not because of the laws then. Because
it is 100% because of the laws. Her daughter did not need to die. It's 100% because of the law.
Was it after Roe v. Wade?
Yes, it was after Roe v. Wade got to. It creates a scenario. So abortion is healthcare. So it creates a scenario where women can't have the best possible healthcare road forward because they're a woman specifically. And if you're a man and you go to the emergency room, the physician is going to choose the best path for you every single time. They're not going to say, we're going to do something that could potentially harm you real quick. We're going to wait until you're nearly dead, and then we're going to start performing our medicine on you. They would never do that. But to women, they do that. They say, well, you could be pregnant or you are pregnant, so therefore you actually need to be so bad on the verge of death. So we actually need you to start crashing. We need you.
Was that an ectopic pregnancy?
No, ectopic pregnancies don't get to that stage. But you're right that is a scenario where if that is like a mandatory, you have to have an abortion or you could die and rupture at any time.
Yeah, and exactly. Those are like I think that's permissible to get the abortion. Obviously, like I still think that life is a life. That's why I value it, because I believe in the Bible, and the Bible says God said, Jesus said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And inherently saying that means the second we're conceived, and we basically have our soul at that point. And I don't think it's exactly, your choice to send an innocent being, even though a fetus is amoral before sentience. But doesn't really matter. Someone who hasn't done wrong doesn't deserve to die, and I don't think they have the right to send them towards heaven or hell, even though obviously a fetus goes to heaven.
Yeah, I thought it was first breath. I thought that the whole idea, because Jewish people believe that like life begins at birth, which I agree with. So I don't know. I think that's a. Dude, that's that could be a sperm and an egg. That could be a lot of different scenarios. I mean, the idea that like just when the egg and the sperm first meet, man, like you haven't even intercalated your DNA. Like it's
whenever they fuse. That's whenever they're fusing. That's whenever the two DNAs fuse together.
Okay, but what do you think is happening there? Like, I mean. But as soon as they fuse,
it starts the first like process. There's another word for that, of life. That's whenever the first like the process starts.
But it hasn't even implanted.
What hasn't implanted? The zygote hasn't. No, whenever they fuse, that's because it got implanted and it's fertilized.
But a lot of times a fertilized egg will just be like they'll never implant and it'll just like slough off. And that's technically that what you're considering is that should be a crime, because you're saying a fertilized egg that failed to implant in the uterine lining is an abortion. And then that's a crime.
Wouldn't that just be considered a quote-unquote miscarriage? No, because I'm not saying a miscarriage, you did that. It's if you purposely get a procedure done to end the
I know, but
quote unquote
why
life.
would God? But you're saying that God is talking to the fertilized egg, and that they know that they know God at that point. So why would God choose to not implant that person at that point?
All right. Again, I believe in a not deist God exactly, but ever since Jesus left, he is kind of a deist because we have free will, and I don't believe that he affects our world currently.
Okay.
So
he's hands off. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't believe he's the one moving around that egg and planting it in the mother's uterus or whatever. I might be getting my terminology wrong. I'm tired, but I believe like that thing still would be a soul if it did fuse, the sperm and the egg, the mother's egg did fuse, those DNAs. It created its own special, not its own special DNA, but it was, because it's not like we're exact replicas of half of our mother and half of our dad. That's not exactly how it works. I mean, it is in a sense. It's just we're unique to them. So
if you think that like souls exist, I'm curious. Like if you like have the same DNA, and let's just say we cloned that person. Like, would they have the same soul, or there'd be two souls?
Cloning? Well,
let's just say you magically cloned someone. Like you had that fertilized egg, and you just happened to, like, I don't know, make a second copy of it. I mean, would there be two souls, or would there be one soul?
That's a good question. So,
Ingrid.
So are we simply cloning the egg itself? So it's already the mother's and the father's DNA.
Yeah, they're cloning the DNA that's already been fertilized, and you just create a second copy.
Because that's like the same thing as asking, is a conjoined twin. Are they one soul or are they two souls? Yeah, to be honest, it'd probably be two souls. I think it would be two, because you have your own, each person has their own brain, same as a conjoined twin. They're not functioning off of one brain. I don't think so. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, this isn't like a hypothetical thing. This is like you realize twins like have identical DNA, and they're like two people. So it's not like just a theoretical thing. So it's not unique DNA that creates the soul.
No, are twins not different eggs?
It matters. There could be fraternal, or there could be identical twins.
So whenever if you're an identical twin, is that the same sperm that created two people?
It matters. It matters what type of twin you are. There's fraternal, and there's multiple implantations, multiple eggs that can happen, you can have two different genetic people in the same in the same birth. You can have identical people, the identical DNA. It's just weird. I don't know. The idea of a soul is weird to me, I guess. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There's never been any type of evidence or anything to say that souls exist.
Well, of course, that's exactly why scientists are against religion, because it's like not scientifically provable, but nor is it scientifically disprovable. Have you ever done scientific research and disproved, religion or a soul? No, you can't. It's not possible, because a soul is an external force. Not external. It's a force outside of like time and matter. It's something that goes on forever.
But you make positive. Okay, but are you saying that you're just kind of like up in the air on unicorns existing in the same way? Like you can't disprove unicorns. So do you think that unicorns could be real?
We can't disprove unicorns. I didn't know that. I mean, unicorns
like leprechauns or anything like that? You know what I mean? Or the tooth fairy? Like, why don't you think that the tooth fairy is real?
Well, why don't I? I guess that's going to be kind of a contradicting answer, but because the tooth fairy is just a tale, and you could kind of say the same thing about how the Bible's a tale.
No,
but
okay. I mean, I would say that tooth fairy. doesn't exist because there's no natural process that makes fairies or tooth fairies, for that matter. Right?
Yeah, but the whole like concept of a tooth fairy, it wasn't created because people actually believed in it or saw, a tooth fairy and said Jesus was something people actually saw and believed he was God because he saw them do miracles. They saw him resurrect, and of course that's just a biblical.
You realize that there are Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'll even give to you that he probably did exist because there was hundreds of people during that time that made the exact same claim. There's tons of people in that time that were doing the exact same things that he was doing there's I think it's Ra, the Egyptian god, that has like the exact same birth story and the exact same concept as Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Like you should check it out. It's really interesting. So even his story isn't unique to Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Jesus is this is undisputable. There is a couple of people who like to claim he never actually lived, but Jesus Christ, he was born in Bethlehem and he died in I think Jerusalem. I can't actually remember, to be honest, but I know he was born in Bethlehem, Palestine. This is like a known a fact. There's actual proof that Jesus lived.
Dude. There's not. No. There isn't. There. It's like historical evidence is tenuous at best. There's no proof. There is no proof, and there's definitely no proof of the resurrection or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no proof of the resurrection.
Yeah.
So, are you a non-believer that he lived?
Like I said, I'll even give to you that there, out of hundreds of people in that same region and that same time, that there's probably a really good chance that someone calling themselves Jesus Christ of Nazareth did exist. But you realize that the stories that you understand from the Bible weren't someone wasn't taking notes while this happened. All the Bible books were written hundreds and hundreds of years after these stories happened. So it's they were posthumously.
Paul was born 0000, and I'm assuming that was after the flood, so it's not like people were living hundreds of years or whatever. So it was within a 120-year time frame. I'm sure. I don't know how.
120 years, Mike. Talking to people about the pandemic, they misremember things constantly, and that was 5 years ago. So you're talking about 120 years ago, bro.
Exactly,
3
Paul didn't
generations.
actually live to see what happened. But he they gave him.
What do you think? What do you think, man? Isn't that wild? Would you believe that? Would you believe I wasn't living during Trump's presidency, but please, as a historical record, take what I said with the exact certainty. And isn't that weird though? God chose to be an author specifically, right? So out of all the things that God could be, God could have been a YouTube creator. He could have been a TikTok streamer, because the technology that created TikTok and the internet is made by humans, and he created humans. So obviously he knew what humans can and will be capable of. And specifically, God was an author. And isn't that weird that he just chose to not have someone that's there, writing things down specifically? Isn't that weird?
So hold on, let me get this straight. So first of all, the Jews even believe he was a living man. That's why they wrote down in the Talmud that he's burning in hell.
Yeah, he's Jesus Christ of Nazareth is a character in the Quran. He's
exactly.
He's waiting on an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. So yes, these characters in the Abrahamic religions are it's cool. They're okay, they exist, but that doesn't mean that it's factually accurate, right?
No, what I mean is the majority of the world disagrees with you. There's 2.6 billion Christians.
The majority of religions disagree with you. You only believe in one religion.
What?
In the story of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, there are thousands of religions that have existed throughout the time that humans are here.
Yeah, there's just Christianity itself. There's 44,100 denominations.
But
But what I was getting at is
realize
there's
that
2.6 billion Christians. There's over a billion Jews and over a billion Muslims. That's 1 billion, 2.6 billion, 3 billion. So that's 4.6 billion people. That's just over or in or around the half of the population. And that's just the three main Abrahamic religions. There's still things like Rastafarian. I'm sure they don't have that many people, so that's really not something to take into account. But I can't remember the other religions, but there is other religions
there's
that
thousands. There's been thousands of religions.
but that all believe Jesus Christ was a living man. Like saying that Jesus never lived is just
there's no factual evidence. No, I mean, there's just no factual evidence to make it that case. I mean, there's
a bunch of evidence. There's obviously no proof. Otherwise, you'd have no reason to disagree. And a bunch of, but atheists. Like there's plenty of atheists who do believe he was a living man because there's so much evidence of him. So much.
I'm telling you that I'll even give to you that there was probably is a Jesus Christ of Nazareth that exists during that time. Again, there's hundreds of people that said that they were doing the same thing during that time in that same region of the world. So it's not unique to Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Oh, okay. So you're saying there was hundreds of people that claimed to be like quote unquote Jesus?
No, that they were doing the same things, that they were doing the water to wine magic tricks, that they were doing like the stuff like all those things.
There was a couple of people in the Bible, like I think it was Moses did a couple of things that Jesus did, and what's his name? There was a couple of people in the Bible, like that did like some of the same miracles as Jesus. Like there was, I don't know their names to be honest, but I don't know. Have you finished the whole Bible before?
No, I've never read the Bible book to book.
You should try. You should read it from front to back. If you want, you could forget about the Torah.
Okay.
I mean, it's still a big deal, but it's the Jews' book. That's theirs, but we took it from them. To be honest, if you really think about it, the Jews, they should be Christians. That's why we got Messianic Jews, because Jesus was meant for the Jews. He wasn't meant to create a whole new religion. He was meant to bring the Jews to believe that he was the Messiah. And now the Jews are stuck here thinking that one day they're going to have a fucking Messiah again. And let's be honest, it's not going to happen. I'll give them the fact maybe Jesus, because I'm a believer. I'm not a knower. I don't know that Jesus was actually God. But there will not be a person who just comes one day and starts doing these magical things that Jesus claimed to do.
But even since you just admitted and I agree with you that you have no actual proof of Jesus being real and in this being real, then why is it okay in order for you to force your beliefs, your Christian beliefs, onto other people and allow them to not receive healthcare because of?
I'm a Christian nationalist, so I mean, no one actually knows that he was God. If you claim to know.
But why should you decide on other people's healthcare based off of something that you can't even prove?
Or why should the Muslims be able to claim that women have to put stuff over their head and women don't have rights if they can't even prove that Allah is real? There's and why should the Jews be able to? That's not okay
either. I mean, I'm not defending that.
Israel's forcing their religious beliefs on their country. America, it won't be the first Christian nationalist nation if it does become, which I strongly do believe it will become one, because we've had huge names like Charlie Kirk that are Christian nationalists. We have the House of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, he's a Christian nationalist. We have multiple people that are in our politics and American politics that are Christian nationalists, but people like Nick Fuentes, he's a piece of shit, but he's a Christian nationalist.
Okay. Why do you think that about Fuentes?
Why do I think he's a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
Of course, yeah. But I'm curious, like, why you draw the line at Fuentes and not like Vance?
He's anti-Semitic. He's anti-Semitic,
Okay.
and he's selling Jeffrey Epstein merch, and those are the two main ones. I love the Jews. Anti-Semitism is disgusting, and I got restricted.
Yeah. Well, bro, it's nice talking to you, man. I appreciate you coming up. So, all right, man.
Have a good time.
Peace. All right. Got a live visibility restriction. Thanks. Hey guys, thank you. I'm trying to do my science show in the daytime hours, normal lifetime, normal real time, non-zombie hours. So if you like this, please hang out. Please like and do all the TikTok things, follow, hang out, do the heart me's. Those are really cool. I'm down, Joe. I'm down. I know, it's crazy.
What's up, man? How you been?
Joe, what's up? How's it going?
Not bad.
Thanks, guys. Thank
I
you.
do not. That dude before is cracking me up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian, and I think I don't know if you remember talking to me at all, but
Yeah, I do.
I would say that those people are power hungry. They're not indicative of real Christians. I hope other Christians out there agree with that.
I mean, doesn't Jesus talk about like being like questioning the state? Like it is some like So
it's the entire premise of Christianity is that the real world is not the real world. The kingdom of heaven is within, and our battle's not against flesh and blood. It's against the princes and principalities of the world. So
okay.
I don't know, but these people are power hungry. So you've seen it time and time again, like, the Crusades. Power hungry people are attracted to religion. And, his call to authority saying, oh, this person, Charlie Kirk, the Speaker of the House, he's living his own, weird wet dream. None of that's coming to fruition. It's any ideology that's hateful. Like that's not in line with the message of Christ. So I know we're not really talking about science.
That's all good.
I wanted to throw that out there.
We talk whatever. I mean, it's an ask me anything, dude. So whatever we want to talk about, it's all good.
This guy says, how am I power hungry? Because you want to seize political power through the mantle of suggesting that somehow better than it. Like Christianity is about your personal relationship with God. It's not about externalizing and controlling others. Like you've missed the main message of Christianity if you have the ability to say, I am a Christian nationalist. It is antithetical. It is an oxymoron. Those two cannot happen in the same position. The Bible, okay, I don't see where Jesus ever said, take up arms or power or exercise political control over others. This guy's crazy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually want to 1v1 you in medieval battle, but
well, I mean, yeah, dang, dude. I thought this was our jiu-jitsu match. We were gonna get it done, and so there you go.
I will be in Boston at some point, so maybe I'll hit you up.
I'm not in Boston. But that sounds great.
I thought you were in Massachusetts.
San Diego.
Oh shoot! I thought you were in Massachusetts. Yeah. All right, well, I'll get down. I just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully people agree with me. I don't know. It doesn't really matter if you do or not, but yeah, that guy's full of shit.
All right, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one. All right, guys. Well, we're looking for anyone that wants to chat or discuss about the prompts or what we want to, if you have questions, all good. Questions about science, questions about anything. So let me know. Yeah, but the problem is like who decides what sin is, man? I mean, that's the thing, and through democracy, we can, I think that it's just a better mechanism to figure out like what we should be doing in our country. So I think that's like a better way to do it. The Bible it's tough. It's just not, it's archaic. you know, and that's archaic. But then also, it not everyone believes that the Bible's true. You know what I mean? You're just never going to have that. So it's kind of lame, kind of cringe, as the kids say. I mean, but I do think, I mean, what I hear when people say that, you know, blank nationalism or whatever, I feel like it's just that they feel like what they know to be true is the best, and nobody else should be able to question that authority. And I think that's the big thing that people don't understand is that, you know, you should be able to prove like what you're talking about through the population. And I think that's important, and you should have it voted on, you know? Yeah. I know. And it is weird. Like specifically the separation of church and state is pretty apparent and very specifically in the United States, not in the Constitution, but in the, you know, people talk about that everywhere. So the idea that like of all places, of all countries, like why the United States? Why would you want to have that as you know, as an official religion of the United States? There is no state religion in the United States. So I feel like it is, it's awful. Guys, if you don't already, Ingrid has an awesome live. She has like you guys have like it's like a gang. Ingrid, you have a whole gang and crew of panels on all really awesome topics, guys. So if you're not already following Ingrid, she's an awesome person to follow. And oh my gosh, Desi! Wow, there you are. You guys are. It's like a purple. It's like a purple gang. I love it. Really insightful conversations and really cool panels that I always love listening in on. So I appreciate you guys, or you all. I apologize. Be the better, before the better of humanity. Yeah, I think using. I do wish that we had more. Are you an evolutionist materialist? Yeah. I do feel like there are natural reasons and explanations for the things that we see, and we don't need like a supernatural world in order to explain anything. Oh, nice, Robin. Yeah, Robin San Diego, great name. I mean, I have a degree in evolution, so I would definitely say I'm an evolutionist for sure. I mean, but we're just a biologist, you know what I mean? Like technically, if there was a more encompassing or a better a better way of explaining how things work, then I wouldn't be a evolutionist. I'm just, a scientist. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Do you have an immaterial mind or just a brain? Yeah, I mean, my consciousness is only made up of chemical reactions and through neurotransmitters in my brain. So that's definitely. I don't believe in. I don't believe in souls. So that's the biggest thing. What are your thoughts according to materialism? Yeah, man, I think that there are natural explanations for everything that we see in the world, and it's on science and to better understand the world and how it's created, and how we better understand those mechanisms, and that's just how we do it. So, yes, Desi, yes. I feel mutations survived through evolution. Yeah, evolution. I mean, some mutations don't, right? If they don't confer any type of fitness advantage, then they are lost within the population. But mutations definitely do survive. Yeah, Desi. I think like patriotism versus nationalism. Patriotism being like looking out after your community and creating like a better place that more people can thrive in, and inherently creates public health. And in order to better public health, vaccines are required in that. So that is my that is my bait. I get a lot of like Trump supporters on that one. So your thoughts immaterial or material? I mean, my thoughts are a product of chemical reactions in my brain, so I would say they're material. I think, right? I mean, you can definitely see through, chemical reactions that happen based off of external medicines, let's say, that your thoughts can definitely greatly based off of, different types of chemicals in your brain. So I would definitely say that's true. And my atheism has only gotten stronger and better understanding that, because it's just like, wow, through my foray into, doors in the walls, let's say, I would definitely see how, the reality and the sanity and the perception of reality that I have is very fragile. It's very fragile. And through those substances, it's shown that reality, it can be deconstructed very quickly. So yes, Desi. Yeah. It's really sad. I have a PhD in microbiology, and I've basically been doing molecular biology and genetics for 17 years. And so I've been doing a lot of lab bench like stuff, basically genetically modifying things for a living. Yeah, Gabrielle, in your guys' chat, I've met her, and she's like incredible. She's like a world-class scientist, dude. I mean, she is like, no joke, an incredible scientist. So it was really cool to meet her. And man, the Canadian measles outbreak is such an interesting case, because you guys don't have the anti-vax, anti-science president like we have, and you have universal health care, and you still have that problem. So it is very interesting.
I got triggered and I had to request that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not the president, right? But we've got like the person who was in the lead for prime minister was very much like right wing, and I didn't see a lot of his stuff, but I know a lot of the stuff was like question everything. A lot of the people in his caucus were very much like, vaccines cause autism, and like just the ridiculousness. So there is definitely, and I think it's specifically in the undereducated portions of the country as well, that we find these large portions of people who have these like intense fears over vaccines. And I think that their lack of education makes them especially vulnerable. And it's like, in my province specifically, we see it a lot in like farm communities where people probably dropped out of school early to be working on the family farm, probably didn't finish their education and have poor media literacy. So we see the way that these things are like weaponized against people. And it's like unaliving people everywhere. It's going to unalive babies. Like it's really, really sad to see the misinformation spiral happen despite the available literature that's out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was looking at the epidemiological report on from Ontario, and it's really interesting. And it's exactly what you described. It's like the rural areas, that have 80 to 85% vaccination status, which you need 95% for measles, because it's the most like easily spread disease that we know of. And so you just have that small percentage less, and it has a huge impact, and it can just wreak havoc through these rural communities. And it happens in the United States too, where, when you have like a Republican state, you have like the city that's like more liberal Democrat that has higher vaccination rates, but then outside there's just basically a community spread of measles going everywhere. And measles is so nefarious too, because 30% of people that have measles basically lose their entire immune system. It wipes out your bank of antibodies. So because it attacks your T cells and your B cells. So what happens is that other viruses are now stronger. Now they are more lethal. Now they are more easily going to take people's lives. And you're exactly right. It's specifically children and older people that are impacted. And I mean, vaccines save the lives of 5 million people a year, 4 million children, and 1 million people. So it's incredibly.
It's especially terrifying, I think, in context of we've got like a recently announced HIV epidemic. So if we've got all of these folks who are unvaccinated for measles, who then contract HIV, which is like an autoimmune issue, if I'm understanding that correctly, right? Like it makes them so much more vulnerable for these diseases that could be entirely preventable by like very accessible public health measures and by destigmatizing things like HIV and by educating people about vaccines. And it just doesn't get done because people are becoming radicalized by rampant misinformation on the internet. It's really scary.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, Tom HB. Yeah, the immune amnesia is what I was talking about with the T cell and the B cell attack. But yeah, that's the terminology for it. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I had heard that there was a revaccination program happening in Canada, because I'm so curious. Like, we are both. The United States is in the midst of it. We're like in the exponential growth phase, but you guys are on the tail end on the other side. And I'd heard that you guys were having an MMR vaccine program. So I'm curious, like, living there, I mean, do you see flyers? Do you see ads? Do you see people talking about it? Or, what is your lived experience?
Well, I live I'm very far away from any urban center. So I think that we have largely indigenous populations who live out of urban centers or even towns and cities. They live on reservations where there's not a lot of health measures in place at all. So oftentimes I think because of where I live and because we see these large populations of indigenous people coming into the town I live in, there's always lots of encouragement to go in and get vaccinated, and be it the C19 vaccine or the MMR vaccines. We have so much encouragement here for that because the populations of people on reserve are under vaccinated here just because of the lack of health resources that are out there. So for me, I don't know if I would be able to have a good, well-rounded thought on how that's going, just because there is such a big push for people to be vaccinated. But I also don't I guess in saying that, I haven't noticed anything more than what there normally would be. So yes, no, maybe. But they're Ontario's a huge province, right? So if you're looking at stuff from Ontario, it's probably the size of Texas. Ontario's huge. And I live kind of in the middle of a bunch of I'm beside Ontario, but I'm also way north. Anyway, I live in a unique area.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a friend that's Canadian. I've asked him so much about this too, and I feel like my theory of the case right now on how and why this anti-vax and misinformation is spreading is through conspiracy algorithms. Basically, people are asking questions, maybe rightfully so, or they're just asking questions and seeing videos, and they interact with something that's isn't it a coincidence that, blank, and then now they're fed flat earth stuff. Now they're fed a bunch of other conspiracies. And it's very rare, very, very rare that I ever actually talk to someone that is single conspiracy brain. It's an all-encompassing, it's a lot easier to understand the world through these conspiracies and through these short videos explaining, that isn't it a coincidence that the coronavirus came from the same place that says coronavirus in the name in China, or some stupid lab leak conspiracy that hasn't been proven. But it's a lot easier to understand that conspiracy than understanding molecular biology, genetics, population sampling, all that kind of stuff. And it just feeds, these algorithms just feed this stuff. And I think that that's the difference between now and even 5 or 6 years ago. I feel like it's really taken off.
I think especially the people in power, if we look at the politicians that kind of head these things up or make these things so much more potent, we see the way that they kind of push these narratives, right? It becomes easy for the leader of the more conservative party here to say, oh well, like if we're contributing to anti-Asian hate and we've got a large population of Asian immigrants who come in to do the work here that we can't get filled in Canada, right? Like it becomes an easy scapegoat for the next election when they need someone to be mad at, and the politicians can weaponize those folks who they want people to be mad at. But it's scary, and it's, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
People's,
very scary.
people's misunderstanding is like so frightening to me, of just the way that like all of those things, like vaccines and immigration and stuff, like lots of people in Canada blame the high cost of living on the number of immigrants in Canada, but like it's corporate greed. It's not from immigrants. I just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Immigrants increase the size of the economy, which makes people have higher wages, meaning that there's more money in the economy in order to afford like jobs and afford things. You know, that's the theory of the case for capitalists. So it's weird for people, even capitalists are like abandoning this theory of the case just because of rampant racism, you know. Fired my doc. So basically SARS-CoV-2 vaccines are actually making it so our bodies can better respond to cancers. So basically it revs up with our immune system to better attack those. So people that have the COVID vaccine are actually, they're living longer with cancers. And on top of that, it actually has the ability to attack. It creates an ability for your tumors to be attacked through anti-tumor medications. Oh, Desi, thank you for coming up. You're always welcome. Yeah, we always let everyone like come up. Ops only is we let everyone come up. So thank you for requesting. I really appreciate you.
How you doing?
What's up, Snowman? How's it going?
I'm doing good. I actually live in one of those northern regions that she was talking about.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I take it she probably was in the territories. I don't know. Maybe she's still in the live and will want to come back up and discuss if that's possible. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed a similar situation where there's a lag behind the rest of Canada in getting the northern populations their healthcare. Not necessarily in cities like Whitehorse and Yellowknife. That's the capital of the Yukon, the capital of Northwest Territories. Probably Iqaluit because there's no road going into it. Mm-hmm. But I would say that, we have a lot, like in the Northwest Territories, I think there's 33 individual indigenous communities and 2 towns, right? Or I guess 1 city and 1 town. There's Inuvik, there's which has a road going to it, and then Yellowknife, which has a road going to it, which is the capital city, and then all the other 31 towns or communities are towns of like things ranging from 100 people to a couple, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people, maybe. And there's no road. And so the only way to get into these towns is to wait until everything freezes over and deliver everything by truck or barge, right? And so, and then people talk about, like, I've heard people, I have relatives down in the state, and they're like, oh my goodness, that's so underdeveloped. Wow, Canada's not doing its job. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what we mean when we say, oh my God, it's cold. Yeah. It's not a matter, no, really. It's not a matter of underdevelopment because of incapability. The science, it just doesn't, you can't build a road to some of these places. You just physically cannot do it. And not only could you not do it, and even if you could, would it cost so much money? There's only, say, 45,000 people that live in the Northwest Territories alone. And I think somewhere in the realm of 30 to 50,000 people that live in the Yukon. And I think, why would you build a 2-lane road for 150 people that have an airport, right? Get on a plane, they fly down to Yellowknife, they fly down to Edmonton, right? But as a consequence of that, when we have these indigenous communities up here, it's not that, well, I want to make it clear. There's a difference between us not having the doctors to send to them and them not needing a doctor because there's only 100 of them.
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense? Like the distinction is different. Right. Like we can get somebody from Yellowknife to go up there. Right. And albeit it's challenging. Right. You have to recruit these people. They have to be willing to do these things. We have to give them higher salaries, which makes sense. Right. But at the same time, there are so few people in these regions, it would make no logistical sense to do some of the things that people in southern Canada and the United States do with their populations, especially considering the weather constraints. So I did want to throw that out there so people didn't get the wrong idea about Canada's inability to do something.
Yeah, the science of a pandemic kind of there's disadvantages to like rural areas just inherent in a pandemic. That, I mean, you'd think that, oh, they're always going to be they're further away, so there's less exposure, but there's great examples, unfortunately, in the 1918 outbreak. So basically the pandemic that happened there, which was fueled a lot by like World War I. So basically there's different waves that came through, and on the first wave that went through, that gave kind of like a lot of people like some type of baseline like antibodies. You know, basically these indigenous tribes in Canada weren't exposed to them. So what happened when the second wave happened, from, you know, spurred by mutations from World War I, and you have like planes and all that kind of stuff happening, basically it did finally get to those more rural areas of Canada, and there's the devastating impacts. You know, the mortality rate of when you're not exposed to those first waves was way higher. So unfortunately, it like impacted them. Like it's really sad stuff. It's like. It's important, guys. You know, it's a pandemic is global, globe. You know, we have to, you know, look out for one another. That's why vaccines are so important. That's why when you're traveling, public transport, you know, it is, you know, wearing a mask is really important. It's looking out for you. It's looking out for your community. It's looking out for, you know, your friend's mother that isn't there, but she's impacted as well. So that's why we have to look for it. And HIV is still a pandemic. SARS-CoV-2 is still a pandemic. It's still going around. That's why you still need to get your flu and COVID shots every year. So it's really important. We can't lose track of it. You know.
I did want to mention something. I usually don't read the comments, but this one did catch my eye. Do you mind if I respond to it?
Yeah, go for it.
Somebody says Alaska is just as cold, and the terrain is similar. I'm going to assume that meant similar. If it's that bad, don't live there. I don't think that, and I'm going to assume this person is American. I'm not sure, but I don't think that people understand the indigenous and spiritual ties to the land here. You cannot just look at people and go, leave everything you've ever known because it's cold, right? These people have lived here for thousands of years. We're the ones who came in and pushed them to the uninhabitable parts of the land. And, you know, I think that we need to take that into account when we're not only spewing nonsense on a TikTok forum, but also when we're having these discussions, right? It's not like we can just look at 20,000 indigenous people, let's just say, assuming all of them are, which they aren't, but let's just say for easy number, and say, by the way, move down to this place after we already forced you to move up to this place. Or, you know, if you were already here, we don't want you to stay here. You know, you should leave everything you've, like, that's ridiculous, right? Yeah. Why would we do that to people? And so when people say it's bad up here, first of all, the Northwest Territories, and I've worked in the U.S. and I've worked in Canada, and I've worked in projects all across North America. The Northwest Territories is by far one of the most beautiful places you will ever see in your life. Okay, and I just find it odd that when we have discussions like these, there are so many people, professionals or otherwise, that their first solution is disregard everything about this population of people and leave and never live there again. Oh my God, if it's so horrible and a shithole. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? And also it's bigoted and racist in some cases.
For sure.
Not to sound all pandering or anything like that, but it's very, very, very self-centered on Western ideology. That's all I'm going to leave it.
And it's one of the things we can apply this to, island nations through climate change too. You know, we're displacing millions of people that have done nothing, and we are illegally dumping our waste right on them, on our CO2 waste onto them, pushing them out. And it's like we have not exhausted all available resources in order to try to help these people, you know, in order to make it so that they don't have to move, so that they can be live, you know, full liberated lives, that they can have their own self-determination, and they're not being forced to, you know, these people, once they're displaced, it's not going to get any easier to deal with them. You know, if we're just thinking about politics, like, it's not going to get any easier when those millions of people from these island nations are now displaced and have to go somewhere else, or the indigenous people for Canada. It's not going to get any easier. It's just like trying to out of sight, out of mind the problem, as opposed to exhausting all resources in order to help people.
Yeah, and as an American working in Canada, not being a citizen of Canada, but sort of having been exposed to this type of environment, one thing I will say, I sort of get the offshoot of the immigrant process here, because I've actually had a person, the lady before me had mentioned that immigrants kind of get hated on by the Conservative Party. I don't want to assign it to any specific party. I just, you know, I've seen that happening, and people will talk to me about that, not knowing that I'm not one of them, right? Because I look like them. And then I'll say, wait a minute, technically I'm an immigrant too. And one of them actually looked at me and said, well, you're the kind we want. And I'm like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Like, I love that I live in a country where even as an immigrant, I can look at you and I could say, you're a jerk, right? And you can't do anything about that because we have freedom of speech in Canada and in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. It's white privilege for sure, kind of thing. And you get the same thing with the Trump administration talking about, like, oh, we're going to pave the way for South Africans that are, you know, that are displaced or whatever, and yet we're these you know, all these other people that are already here. Now we're trying to like kick them out in the United States and their ideology, when it's like, well, they already have ties here. They're already they're already Americans. They already live here. They already have their green cards, and it's just there's enough. It's like a weird. We have enough resources in order to help everyone, you know, like there's no reason to do this. Like we have right now, the people that are taking too much aren't the immigrant families right down the road from you that are working multiple jobs, that are at the little league games at the supermarket with you. It's you know, people like Elon Musk that are taking hundreds of billions of dollars from the United States government, you know, and not paying any income tax, not paying any federal tax through Tesla. And it's like, you know, the enemy is obvious in my mind.
Yeah. Can I finish off with this point and then drop down?
Yeah, sure.
Specifically with people that are getting displaced due to Western intervention in those areas or otherwise, doesn't really matter. Specifically with a focus on Canada and the United States. As a United States citizen, I know a lot about the U.S. immigration system. And as an immigrant to Canada, I know a lot about the immigration system in Canada. I don't think a lot of people truly realize how difficult it is to get into a country in a legal fashion. It is so insanely difficult. It's insane. Like I have no other words to describe it. It's so insanely difficult that it's insane. And particularly with people who bash on the IRCC for allowing all the people to come into Canada, I think to myself, could you even pass half of the exams they make you write when you walk across the border? Could you pass the medical test they make you take? Like, because they make you take a medical test to make sure you're not going to die when you cross the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you pass the English exam? Could you pass the citizenship exam, the history exam? Would your qualifications even be recognized if you were going the other way?
It's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Republicans require immigrants to be fully vaccinated and they themselves are not vaccinated. So it's just like, it's very weird. And it's the same thing with the citizenship tests in order to become a citizen. You know, it's just, it is very wild. But dude, thank you for coming up. I appreciate talking to you.
Most definitely. No, most definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Guys, thank you so much. This is an abnormal time for me doing the science show during the waking hours, the non-nocturnal. I don't know what that is called. What's non-nocturnal? The coffee hours. Is that that's a good, the coffee hours of today. So please, the likes, the shares, the follows really helps right now. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all the gifters. I really appreciate you too. The Ducray, exactly, the diurnals. Yeah, great conversations today. This has been awesome. Yeah, I agree, Heather. The Wayne, the brains that work in the sunlight. The photosynthetic brain, the photosynthetic hours. Oh my gosh, guys, we got to bring it back to plants. We got to bring it. The chloroplast loving hours. Love it. Thank you, Bear. Thank you. Let's see here. We got Tom HP trying to come in. We'll see. Oh, he failed. Man, Globus the Elder. I see your question, bro. The latest science of algae that has you pumped. Dude, it's honestly the sad part is that we aren't really funding algae biofuels or algae research like that much anymore. It is that's the saddest part. I have my friend in the Department of Energy and stuff, and we're not funding that stuff anymore. It's really sad. It's kind of like a bygone era, man, and it makes me really frustrated. So I haven't seen any new studies that really interest me. But the future is going to be even worse, So but that's the truth. I mean, that's what I think about when I think about algae research, to be honest with you. Yeah, man, I don't know what to say other than that. If we don't prioritize it, we don't fund it, it's not going to be happening. That's what makes it sad. Let's try again. Yeah, Tom didn't join that one. Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Hey, it's going pretty good, thank you.
What's on your mind?
I was listening. It was really interesting. This is kind of unrelated to the prompt, but would you be able to help me with something? Just for a second.
I'll try.
Cheers. Sorry, somewhat unfamiliar with it. Here we go. So I managed to get AlphaFold, and I managed to get the beautiful protein that I made.
Oh, wow.
Or the modification. Cool. And I got the interaction.
Whoa.
But the issue is that this is kind of flipped colors, because this is what it looks like normally, and this is after the mutation. So I want the kind of orange be turquoise, turquoise be orange, so it matches. I don't know how to do it.
Wow. Wow. I don't know. I've never worked with AlphaFold actually, so I don't know. I have no idea, but that's really cool. Are you just running that like locally?
Yeah, yes, this is on the server. It's really cool. So initially I ran it on, it's probably lost now, but I made it on AlphaFold 2 of like the, what was it called? Like Alpha Collab or something, Collab Fold.
Wow.
And that was on like a Google Collab thing, and that took ages.
Yeah.
And then I found out I could do AlphaFold 3 instead.
Oh, that's so cool. Can you like do multiple iterations of like different at the same time to kind of like see what binds best or like, yeah, I'm so
That's what I did. I mean, it took all day for one. Most of them failed.
Wow.
Which I think is mostly my fault. But after, because yesterday I ran it overnight, and then I'm assuming the PC did something. or the server did something, because then they all failed. So I did it again today, and it's taken 8 hours, I think, to finally get done.
How big are these? How many kilodaltons are we talking about?
Oh, this is I can get the sequence. It's TOF 1.
Mm-hmm. Not familiar.
It's timeless. Like Tim.
But like, I guess how many? I don't know. I'm just curious. Like how big they are.
I'll get the.
Because it doesn't seem like gigantic.
It's pretty big. It's one of the main parts of the repliosome. I just want it its own. Where is it? Here it is with CSM3. That's kind of the other one.
Okay.
But it is. How big is it on its own? Let me load up alpha quick. Because I've got it in the organism I used as well, which is really cool.
Oh, cool. I love this.
Top one. Yeah. Here he is. So it's pretty big. It is 1,000. Yeah, it's like 1,200.
Okay.
Amino acids.
Nice. Oh yeah, that is big. That is awesome. That's crazy. That's amazing that you could do that many and you could keep going, and that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. I was really hoping, because if I go back over to here, you can see all the failed attempts.
Ah.
Here we go. So you can see all the ones here that almost worked. These ones were the ones that didn't, but I wanted to try and see kind of how it worked with that.
Wow.
But luckily, other people have done the normal interaction, so I'm assuming I can just slap them both together.
Dude, that is so cool. I love that.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. That's really cool.
Cheers.
That's really cool. All right, guys. I've been going for 3 hours, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Thank you for the new time, new day, new yeah. So I think we'll have to see we'll try to see if it's going to happen for hi Desi. Thank you, Desi. Yeah, we'll have to see tonight if what's going to happen, and then maybe just like a chill hangout or something. But yeah, we'll have to see. And thank you for checking out this different time. Thank you for everything. Thanks for the gifts. Thank you for the likes, the follows, the shares, and everything. And I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being interested in science. Thank you, Ghost, NB. Thank you, Ghost and Heather. Ghost, NB, Heather, Pessimistic, Ducray, Michelle, Endless, Tom HP. Thank you, guys. Desi, thank you. Thank you, Golden. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. It was a cool conversation. It was a cool day. So, hey, I wasn't just talking to myself all night. That was cool. Which happens a lot with the nighttime streams and trying to get any the conversation in there. So, I like it. I like it. Yeah, Heather. Well, we'll have to try it. We'll have to keep going. So we'll try this. We'll keep trying for this day, for this time slot, and keep seeing how it goes. We're on the move to the B's. We're trying to rank up so that we can to basically like protect the live from violations and stuff like that. So we're on the move. We're having fun, and I'm doing like workout streams and stuff too, which is weird to talk about as I'm here in this high production. The high production value that you see today. But we also chill. We also hang out. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. The mad scientist. Oh, what's up, Tony? What's up, dude? Oh, that was a friend that we just made from the battles and stuff. Yeah, bro. This is my science show. How cool. I love it. Dude, I love talking to people about science. I love talking about it through the show. And then the co-hosting is so fun to meet new people and to, to see how they're doing and see what's going on. So yeah, exactly. MB. So we're dipping all our feet. We're 10 We're 10 feet in. Okay, we're 10 feet in with four toes. Okay, that's what with 6, 7 fingers. You know, so that's just 6, 7 fingers at a time. You know, is that right? Sorry. I was like, sorry. It's not funny. They do, Tony. Yeah, they do. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I gotta go do dad stuff, and thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. So I'll see you later. Bye. I know. I do. Yeah, dad nap for sure. All right, love you guys. See ya. Be nice to someone. Bye. YouTube, Twitch. I love you guys. Globus, thanks for hanging out, brother. It was nice for you to see the science show. And dude, that was cool for you to pop into TikTok. That was awesome too, man. I appreciate you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Love you. Have a good day. Be kind to someone.